Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, is the incorrigible Inquisitor, 8.1 quiz. How are you doing this week?
I am doing okay. My brother's in town, so that's something new.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to hang out with him and the kids.
Sweet. And running on our triumvirate of awesome, as always, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Link in the description. Jack, how are you doing? Is your
I'm all right. No.
No.
Is your butthole tight? And why isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jack. What's the problem here?
I did just take a poop a little while ago.
Oh, man. Thanks, quiz, for derailing our stream immediately.
Comic books, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap out there.
Well, yeah, there is, but...
So, just so you know, the kind of dedication that, well, it's not dedication. I think it's really more out of guilt that we have in terms of starting the stream reasonably on time. Quiz was running late, but he starts communicating to us from his car, streaming in, just in case he, what was that? In case we were going to start early, you'd be like joining us from your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
See, that's the kind of dedication that we have, or guilt. I don't know what it is. Some sort of complex.
Well, I could have, done the stream from my car until I got home. I was literally only a minute away. So
sweet. So yeah, thanks everybody for waiting until we got started. Mule 1066, always the first one here. Greatly appreciated. Jesse Green and oh look, I was in chat. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And Jim Hillis is here. Hey Jim, and James Colley and Ebony Williams. Hey Ebony. And this is Kyle and Cryptic and James Colley again. Nice. And why aren't you guys communicating with our dedicated audience before we start streaming? It's just me.
Because we always talk in the chat during the show.
And I was waiting forever for you to show up, and you couldn't chat with them because you weren't here yet. Jack, looking at you.
I don't know why I suddenly got singled out, but sure, let's go with that.
Remember, this is Polly's shtick, pass the buck.
Yeah, that's it. It's a shtick. It's not
never accurate.
To own up to it or anything. Let's see. We're going to start as we usually do with hey, look, it's our thumbnail for this week. Sage from Extreme X-Men. You know anything about the character of Sage, Quiz?
She got a nice butt.
Well, the latex suit helps.
That's is it latex though? I mean, it's bunching. It's bunching around the butt crack.
I thought that.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the position she's in. No, it's definitely Sage.
Oh, well, Sage has a nice butt too.
You can tell by the tattoo here. It's a little faint, but that was the style in Extreme X-Men. I actually had to darken this a lot. If you look at the original comic series, I've read issues 1 through 10 so far. That was a series that started in 2002 and ran for a little while, written by Chris Claremont. So it's kind of odd that you see like 90s super intense extreme action, that sort of shtick of comics, but written by Chris Claremont. It's got all of his earmarks in it in terms of super wordy, lots of talk, lots of narration squares, talking about what's going on, intricate plots, dark stuff happening. Yeah. Now, one thing I do have to disagree with is that I gave the people on Monkey in the Morning last night a sneak peek at this, and Monkey said it looked like she was holding a dick. Do you see a dick here? Like, I don't even see what he's talking about.
No, those look like sunglasses. I will say this, though. She's got Liefeldian-esque proportions.
What, you don't think that this is cinching her waist a little?
No, I think that is... If that were actually her waist, she would be a Holocaust survivor. It's that thin.
Holocaust survivor? Excuse me. It's called looking good for your man.
Ah. It's disproportionately small. Come on.
I'll tell you one thing. When I was doing the, like, she's not Liefeldian skinny because her arms and her shoulders and her back aren't. When I was cutting her out of the background, this is actually the image from the cover of Extreme X-Men #4. Like, I noticed that the artist bothered to make shapes. Like, she doesn't have like pure stick arms, and she has like a muscular back that's drawn. You can clearly see that she's not wafer thin. But then her waist, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I was
guess.
gonna say, yeah, that's the problem is that yeah, she is proportionately muscular from like the back up, but that waist is just really really small.
Well, again, I say that's a what are they called? The waist cinchers?
Corset,
Corset? Yeah, it's an X-Men corset.
an X corset.
Yes.
It's superhero garb. I know it doesn't need to make sense, but
Yeah. I
I'd
mean,
say
half the point is to distract your enemies while you're fighting them, and it would certainly work.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I would say I also think it's kind of funny though. Polly once not on air brought up a term that I think definitely fits a lot of the Extreme X-Men to a T. They are very tactical.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have, but it's weird whenever you want someone to look tactical. I notice that a few people have pointed this out, is that you put more and more clothes on them, not less and less, so they end up having like, yeah, tactical, like they look like, I don't know, like a superhero SWAT team, for want of a better description. Like Rogue, of course, has she's going to be covered from head to toe because of the nature of her powers. She touches anyone with her bare skin, etc. But everyone else is like that as well. They're just absolutely head to toe. The only thing you can see is their neck and up, and they even have high collars and not just sunglasses, but like protective eyewear in case, I don't know, shards of metal come flying, which would probably happen during a fight.
Yeah, maybe. Just it seemed a lot like they were trying to go with the tactical X-Men, and it's not surprising either, because that was a series that came out well after the X-Men movie. And the X-Men movie, nailed that to a T. They made all of the superhero costumes tactical for the movie.
Yeah, what's funny is that a couple of people were talking about this yesterday on Monkey in the Morning. If we go back to the picture here real quick, and there's some gun nerd stuff that doesn't really matter because it's comic books. So if you've ever seen Liefeld draw a gun, whatever,
Yeah, it's a big old ray gun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the world's your oyster. They don't really have to conform to guns. But if you look at the front end of this gun right here, excuse me, it looks very much like an FNP 90, but 90, yeah. That's a top loading magazine with this very interesting way the magazine turns the rounds to be able to load into the chamber, but then the magazine's also down here, and that kind of gun doesn't have a pistol grip anywhere near there. So unless there's another gun under here, this doesn't make any sense. But I just think the artist modeled, I like the way the front of that gun looks. It looks cool. So just modeled it off of that and put a magazine and pistol grip in the regular place. And for it to be a magazine to be back there, it'd have to be a bullpup design to have the action behind where the trigger group is. But again, that's all gun nerd stuff that doesn't really matter.
No, to get even more gun nerdy about it, the handle would definitely not be that far down on the gun either.
Are you sure that's a handle and not a penis?
Or
I'm positive it's got screw holes in it and grip paneling.
It could be a belt. Prove me wrong.
Strap on.
It could be a belt.
You know what I just noticed? This is
kids in the audience.
What's that?
Kids in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. People's 16-year-old children are here. We're being terrible. No, if you take a look at this, like, this is some detail that didn't need to be added there. Like, were you modeling off of an actual outfit or something? Because there's harnesses, small harnesses that are strapping it to the belt. So
also,
the pants don't ride down and the belt doesn't ride up. And it's like, you didn't need to do that. But I guess it does explain how the material is so taut and shiny across her butt right now.
Well, I was gonna say, is that shiny, or is that partially see-through and we're seeing her garter belt?
No, it's shiny.
No,
I don't know, man.
That's her wrestling belt when Tonka didn't show up.
Look, it's shiny on her. It's shiny on her thighs. That's not her garter belt.
I think that belt thing would really wedge in between her butt cheeks like that, and it would be very uncomfortable to sit.
You know, I'm surprised that people said that.
Right in the small of her back. I mean, you can't sit in a chair like that.
Is she Slav squatting? No, she's not, because, well, no, she still has her heels on the ground, considering that she's got those nice stilettos, but
Well, okay. So Ryan Walter says, "Why is the X insignia above her ass?" Well, the answer is because where else is it going to go? Like, there's not a
X
lot of
marks
room left on that costume for
no,
anything else.
Ryan. It's because X marks the spot. If you know what I'm saying.
For the tramp stamp.
Because you want to fuck the small of her back.
No, that's where you're going to land your. Okay, if you can't figure out where I'm going with that sentence,
I guess.
No,
I've just never gotten that joke. I think that's lame. But in any case, I will agree with
hashtag Polly abuses Jack.
Well, I'm just saying I will agree with I forget her name now when she's talking about how to make women strong, not sexy. I don't think high heels go with this outfit, in my opinion.
No, they really don't. High heels aren't combat boots
because everything else she's wearing is pretty like it's meant
tactical.
To be, yeah, it's meant to be superhero comic book oriented because it's obviously very stylized, but definitely tactical oriented. What's with the high heels then? It kind of ruins it. In my opinion.
The stilettos is really what ruins it.
Well, like Greg Land likes to copy, like draw images sort of based on like porn stars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
sort of based. Artists, they're not traced or anything.
No, hypothetically, yes, but realistically, I don't know. But I think that's kind of what they're doing here. There's sort of like a fetish aspect to it for a lot of these artists, and they're just copying either like porn star pictures or catalog models or something.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
Got to model off of something, I guess. Well, I mean, you don't have to, but if you're going to, you're going to end up like picking a model, I guess, that would end up somewhat sexy poses that look somewhat like your character. Well, enough of the dismantling of the thumbnail for this week. Where should we start, gentlemen? Oh, I know.
Wait. High heels can outrun a T-Rex? I did not know that, Ryan. Thank you.
You know what? I used to be a big fan of X-Files. I watched it on what streaming service was it I watched it on? Anyway, I don't remember. So I binge watched it. And there was an episode where Gillian Anderson's character, Agent Scully, she always wore not high heels, but lifts, whatever you want to call them, like in every episode. And it's because she's a real short person in real life. And I guess is like Agent Scully, she'd want to be taller so she wouldn't be, more intimidating as an FBI agent would be my guess. But anyway, that's what she wore in every single show. And there was one episode where they go Hollywood. She meets up with an actress that they are hired as consultants on a movie where they're and the actress playing her in the movie asked her, like, I didn't understand how you walk around in these things. And it's like, don't you have to like run after criminals and stuff? How do you run? And she goes, well, like this. And she runs off like in them. And for the rest of the scene that goes on for 2 minutes while David Duchovny's talking to Gary Shandling, who's playing him in the movie, you just see Gillian Anderson for 2 minutes straight running back and forth in the background. And she's running at full fucking speed, man. So don't give me that crap. It's impossible to run in high heels. You can do it.
It's not impossible. It's just unrealistic. You only do that in an emergency.
Well, let's put it this way, man. I would imagine it's actually easier to run. Prove me wrong. I mean, you're already on the balls of your feet.
That's true. I don't know. Ladies in the audience, tell us, because I don't wear women's shoes.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I know that's gendered of me, but
how dare you horrible, horrible, ignorant shitlord.
Yeah, man, why don't you try walking a mile in her shoes? See what that's like.
Why? My feet.
Speaking of, how's Captain Marvel doing?
Nice segue.
Well, you know what? We were going to segue over to something else that I wanted to start with, but since I don't want to ruin Quiz's segue, so yeah, let's go with that.
Before we do, though, the episode of X-Files where they were on cops was one of the best episodes ever.
Yeah. Oh God, I remember that one. It really was like there's no commercial breaks the way that I watched it, but like the moments where they're cutting in commercial breaks, they even did the video effect from cops, the red and blue lights and everything. Yeah.
Please tell me they did Bad Boys. the opening of X-Files with the
no, that would have been awesome. But yeah, it played like an episode of Cops, but it was great. There's an interrogation scene. The guy's like, "What is this, bad cop, insane cop?" That one and Jose Chung's From Outer Space are my two favorite X-Files episodes. Okay, now we can move on.
Now we can move on. Well, that's
and I say I'm not sure if this destroys or enhances my nerd cred, but I have never seen. Okay, I don't remember any X-Files. Like I don't
destroys.
I don't remember actually sitting. I never actually sat down and watched any of them. I know I've watched a couple when it was like on after whatever I was watching, but I've never gone out of my way to watch any X-Files.
Yep, destroys your credibility. It's gone.
It's okay, Polly. Quiz, we're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I will. We never pitch movies. Who was it that came on and pitched the DC animated special of?
That was probably Quiz.
Oh yeah, that was Weebs.
It was
That's
Weebo.
right. Oh yeah. By the way, happy birthday, Weebo Jones.
Yeah, happy birthday. You're probably not here because you're drunk.
Yeah, I invited her on, but she had a drunken stream roast this afternoon, and I was supposed to show up for it, but I had a dentist appointment that was actually rescheduled from another day, and it lasted a hell of a lot. Anyway, you don't care.
My invite must have got lost in the mail.
Oh.
In any case, I didn't end up showing up, and I asked her if she wanted to come on here because we could continue to celebrate her birthday here, but she had been drinking and she also had studying to do, which I can understand. So yeah, but unfortunately, yeah, if you haven't tweeted happy birthday at Weebo and you like her shit, by all means tweet at her. I'm sure she would appreciate it. Let's see. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about Captain Marvel. So we all remember the tomato meter thing at Rotten Tomatoes with Captain Marvel and how they got rid of the way of want to see, don't want to see, review beforehand, and all the jazz that happened around that because people were clicking don't want to see, and it was being reported falsely in some media that trolls were showing up and giving bad reviews of a movie they hadn't seen. Not true. They were simply clicking the don't want to see it button. That's what they were referring to more than anything. So anyway, they got rid of that. My conspiracy theory around that is Disney's a super powerful company and leaned on Rotten Tomatoes in a pretty heavy way, and they said, okay. I have no proof of that, but that was my guess. But it has been some weeks since the movie premiered, and guess what? The ratings are in, and officially 78 amongst critics, 59 amongst the audience. That's official.
That's way higher than it should be.
Yeah.
But the point being, even with the people who liked it and fake liked it, and meaning I liked it, but to counter the trolls, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. That's what I mean by fake liked. And then the people who fake hated it, right? They give it 1 out of 10. It's like, was it really a 1 out of 10? Like a movie would. What the fuck would a movie have to be literally 1 out of 10, man? Like it would.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it would have to be so bad. Like, I mean, like ruin your expectations. Not just bad, like The Room is bad, but it would have to be like, I don't know, it was supposed to be a murder mystery and it turns out to be like a pratfall comedy or something, like completely destroy, like the advertising was way off. What are you kidding me? Kind of thing.
I thought it was all right. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I mean, it had a lot of flaws, but
to be fair, I would give it like within the realm of other Marvel movies, 6 out of 10 is what I would give it, because I thought it was very middling, and that's just my opinion. Nobody agrees with me on my favorite Marvel movie, Captain America: The First Avenger. People are like, you're insane. We have different tastes. That's all. And on that scale, I thought it was around a 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 5. I didn't hate it. This is like a C- for me, but I didn't pay anything to see it either. Yeah, I would like my money back for the free ticket, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It just had a lot. It was goofy in ways I didn't appreciate. So yeah, I didn't detest it or anything, but I'm not going to own it. I'm not going to go buy a copy.
So what is interesting is if you flash back to when they wiped all the early audience scores from pre-screenings and shit like that, when they were able to show ratings of people that had seen it, they wiped a crap ton of the reviews. And to allow the number to come up, and they were saying, like, look at the score that it's being given. This is obviously trolling. It's around what it's at right now after there's 78,000 reviews in. I mean, 78,000, that is a very, you can't really call, I guess it's an aggregate amongst them, but it's not an aggregation over a number of review sites. But you have to go to something like Metacritic to see what they're saying too. But I think it's interesting that the critics and audience scores are that far off. It's always telling when that happens. I mean, this is a sign of access media right here. Access media. We don't want to get not invited to the next early screening.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem with a lot of these is they're not getting legitimate feedback because the critics are not being critical because they want to be able to go see the movie for free beforehand. And
the critics' consensus here on Rotten Tomatoes reads, packed with action, humor, and visual thrills, Captain Marvel introduces the MCU's latest hero with an origin story that makes effective use of the franchise's signature formula. Formulaic is what you're saying. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was middling. And, you know, I think that's a pretty, yeah, I don't know. Is there even a critics consensus? I'd like to know how they put that together. Do you guys know? Like, are they picking one critic statement? I mean, like, who writes what is going to be an amalgamation of what a bunch of different people have said?
Well, it really seems to change quite a bit based on, like, they seem to cherry pick sections. Like, if you say anything positive about certain movies, they take that as an all-around positive and add it to the fresh. I'm not sure how they're doing it anymore, honestly. It seems like they just cherry pick statements out and say it's either a pro or con.
We got the Shazam is running at 93% from the 192 early reviews that are in for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Unlike Quiz, I didn't get into an early showing.
It's really good.
Yeah, I've excuse me, I've heard great things. So, but I haven't watched anybody's. There's a few people that have done, you know, spoiler-free talk about it, but not really review it type things. And I've kind of avoided them because I didn't want any accidental spoilers or anything like that. I just want to go see it.
Yeah, no, I do recommend that. I mean, it is a really damn good movie to go in cold. I'm not gonna say any more on the topic. I don't want to give anything away to anyone, but yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I love that movie, and this is actually coming from someone who really like. Of course, I like DC more than I like Marvel nowadays. But
right.
I have absolutely no stakes in Shazam as a character. I don't think I have a single comic book that has Captain Marvel in it, except for some of the Justice League stuff. Like, I don't know, is he in Public Enemies?
That's actually a good question. Is Black Adam in it? Can you tell us that?
Well, don't spoil anything, because people should go see it and judge for themselves. No ruining the movie here. Come on.
I can say Black Adam is not in Shazam.
Oh.
The reason why is because he's going to get his own movie.
Yeah,
that's already been established.
With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson's going to be Black Adam, Prince of Kahndaq, Crown Prince of Kahndaq. So yeah, I'll see that movie.
I don't like the phrase Black Adam. It should be African American male identifying person. Because Adam was a patriarch.
Wakanda Adam, it's fine. So speaking of clown princes, I did not see the Joker trailer, even though it came out 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Jack and Quiz had seen it, and they were like, "Oh my god, you got to see it!" And I wanted to, so I watched it just before we went live. So my opinions on it, my takes on it, are pretty fresh. What did you guys think of it? First of all,
I love it. I think it looks really good.
I was really worried about this being excuse me, a total travesty of a movie that insulted comic fans everywhere. But it looks really good. It's going to be like an alternate take on the Joker. And who's directing this? Is this Martin Scorsese?
Certainly looks like something Martin Scorsese would do.
Yeah, it looks like a Scorsese movie to me. This,
how?
It just has that like dark, nobody's going to come out of this alive or unscathed look to it.
It has a Christopher Nolan look, most definitely. But
no, I think
Scorsese?
I think it has more of a Scorsese look.
Where was the Rolling Stones music if it was a Scorsese film?
That's a good point, but I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
For those of you who don't know, and if you want to go watch because it's only like 2 minutes quick, the Joker trailer has come out, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Quiz is going to let us know in a minute, I'm sure. So I don't know. It's his mother's going to die horribly, is what I take away from the trailer.
Yeah, that's what I guessed as well. But he's really skinny in this, like almost like Batman was in The Mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Bale, that's his name. Like, it looks unhealthy how skinny he is.
I think that's how he. When I'm watching it, yes, I notice. I'm like, wow, he looks really skinny. And of course, Joker is, often drawn as being quite skinny, so it fits. But I thought maybe that's how Joaquin Phoenix like actually looks, and he's just been on a Hollywood trainer's diet for years, and he just got stopped.
I heard that he lost a bunch of weight to do this movie.
Is that right?
Yeah, that he was doing like some fasting or something. But I was a little worried about Joaquin Phoenix because he didn't seem like the kind of actor that would do this kind of part well. But I'm really impressed with the trailers so far.
Yeah, me too.
At first, it's like, it's like casting like Daniel Day-Lewis. You're like, okay, he's a great actor, but can he do this role? And sure enough, he can.
Fuck Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just tricking the shit out of Polydome right now.
I know.
Actor, acting man, for I am here to act. And
at least give me my name, Polly.
Yeah, I know. Like it
is.
You have to say everything like it's an overly emoted soliloquy, buddy. Everything like there's subtlety in acting.
Name. I don't know. I think this is going to be much more like a dark crime noir than people are giving it credit for. It looks like a really dark movie, though. That's all I'm saying.
Now there's one of the trailer, because you guys had mentioned or somebody in chat, excuse me, had mentioned I don't like trailers anymore. It's like seeing a 1 or 2 minute cut of the film. Every bit is told. You get senses of what's going on watching the Joker trailer, but you don't really know what kind of film it's going to be. It very well might be a crime thriller. Everything that we saw might be from the first half hour of the film.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really look like. From the trailer, it looks like the whole film is a psychological study of how he becomes a Joker, and he only becomes a Joker in the last 3 minutes of the film. That's the climax.
It might be. Whoever cut this trailer did a great job of keeping me not knowing what's happening.
Yeah. I don't like this. Is Kyle said I didn't like the Joker trailer. Well, I coming away from it, I'm interested, and it doesn't seem like a outright crash and burn joke, but it does seem like a super serious psychological study of the way that somebody goes crazy. And it's like, wow, is his mother going to die horribly because of the close relationship they have in that trailer? And that's the way, I don't know, there's always got to be that one inciting incident that drives the person mad because
just one bad day.
I don't know. Maybe they're, with any luck, they won't be running in that particular direction, going classic Hollywood trope with it. But we'll see. We'll see.
I say I don't know. I'm perfectly okay if they do. I mean, that whole the whole cut for the trailer for me really worked. It just worked. Because it's painting whoever the Joker is going to be, right? Because we don't, is this going to be Killing Joke Joker? Is this going to be Dark Knight Returns Joker? Is this going to be, because all of them have distinctively Joker, but not quite the same personalities. And the story beats could be following the whole failed comedian and unable to provide for his wife, or in this case, mother. We don't really know if that's going to be his wife or his mother. Aspect within The Killing Joke, or is it going to be, another sort of story, or is it going to follow the beats from Killing Joke but not be 100% that? Are we going to see Batman at all in this? We know for a fact that it's taking place in Gotham City, so it's not going the whole gritty realism Gotham is Chicago Christopher Nolan-esque take of it, but it's I don't know, it looked really good in my opinion, and if it follows the same sort of story beats that were in The Killing Joke, I'm good.
What I want to know though is where they found Cesar Romero's old suit.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my god, I love that. The only thing that really doesn't work for me is I don't like the Harlequin diamonds over his eyes for the clown makeup.
No.
It's the only bit I don't really like. But when he comes out and he's got all the makeup on and the painted on smile, I'm like, oh, dude, like if like in the course of his crimes or whatever, like the Harlequin eye makeup gets smeared off, so he's just got the alabaster skin with the big old smile. Oh, that'll do it for me. That will be the Joker I'm coming to see.
Jim Healy says it is the failed comedian story. It certainly comes across like that. Hey, quick, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Was the idea of the Joker being a failed comedian around before The Killing Joke? Was that told before?
I've never seen it in anything before The Killing Joke.
So yeah, this, as much as I hate Alan Moore, that's well, not hate, as much as of an overhyped joke that I think Alan Moore is. Before he was a wild bushman worshiping twigs and trees. He was a really strong writer, man. Came up with some great ideas. It's like long-lasting ideas, influential ones.
And now do you see why I said what I said before the stream started, Jack? Just a little foreshadow for everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, well, no. You know what? In the trailer, that would be halfway clever. Faithless asked, does it hide his cleft lip? Well, remember when he got the sign across the face in the trailer? Mm-hmm. Tell me that they write that into it.
I hope, yeah.
That's how he gets, it's this massively cut lip. Remember in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, they're like, oh, this is how River Phoenix, actually, Joaquin's older brother, when he was playing Indiana Jones as a young man, pulls out a whip for the first time and cracks his chin to explain why India has a scar across his chin as Harrison Ford is an older man. I mean, why not do that? It's unless Joaquin is too vain to have his cleft lip noticed.
Nah, well, I think they'll highlight it in a movie like this.
Can we all agree that the biggest flaw in this trailer is that he didn't grow a mustache and paint over it like Cesar Romero did?
You know what I would love to see? Okay, I would. So let's say that is what happens. When he gets the sign across the face, that's how he gets the scar on his upper lip, right? And before then, they pay like $50-75 million to some CGI studio to pull like a Superman thing and make his lip look normal. And it ends up looking awful, and that's all anybody talks about. I would love it. Like the DC curse continues. They can't fuck up.
I sincerely hope that this is going to be a good movie, and I'm excited because of the trailer. So, Joker is one of my favorite DC comic villains, and to see him, actually get his own movie, that's, I was a little skeptical too when they first started showing, Joaquin Phoenix in the get up with the painted face.
Yeah,
I was definitely more than a little bit skeptical, but seeing the actual trailer, I'm down. I am so down.
I would see. There's another thing, Ryan Walters. Lots of good suggestions here today. It's like, you want to know how I got this cleft lip?
Some asshole hit me in the face with a sign.
The birth defect.
No, he tells the story 3 times during the movie, and every time it's a little different. I got a sign across the face. My mother was a drinker. It'd be great. And I would pay triple for the movie if it turns out that his mother's name's Martha, like Frosted Glass suggests.
Oh, God, no.
I would pay.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
He shows up at their beleaguered, downtrodden apartment that they live in, and there's an ambulance gurney taking out his mother's, and he grabs one of the ambulance drivers and goes, "You have to save Martha!" Like, this.
No, he's just gonna refer to her as mother through the whole thing, like Norman Bates.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case.
No, I thought the trailer looked really good. I didn't even know it came out until one of the guys at the comic shop said something yesterday. And I was like, oh, wait, that came out? Well, I have to see this.
Yeah, well, I saw it because Jim Lee retweeted it.
You know what's interesting about that is that there's not my ongoing criticism of shill media and access media and all the garbage tier websites who just kind of like reprint each other's stories is like, what's wrong, DC? Don't you have media assets at every cubicle throughout New York and LA to do your advertising for you?
I think DC wants to do it themselves. They know that they want to have like exclusive access to their audience. That's the reason why they have like DC All Access. They have, the DC Comics YouTube account, stuff like that. They don't want to give this sort of access to other people and have them sitting there recommending it. They want to go after their core audience themselves, which I actually think is actually a good idea.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of an Elseworlds tale anyway, so it's not going to be part of the main DCU. Yeah. So I think they're kind of taking a much different approach than they would if it was one of their regular superhero movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of shill media that other people are reporting stories on, like, oh man.
Before that though, there's one part in the trailer that
okay.
I'm not sure if it is what I'm thinking it's going to be, and I sincerely hope that it isn't. The part where Joaquin Phoenix is reaching through the bars and like pushing up the kid's cheeks to make him smile. I sincerely hope that isn't Bruce Wayne. It's the only part. It's the only part where I'm sitting there going like, please don't have this be a before Bruce Wayne was Batman's story.
You know what would be awesome though is if he's actually in the like day area of Arkham Asylum, and that's just some kid that was walking by the fence.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, just some random kid that's like looking all downtrodden and like life got the worst of him, and he's like trying to make him smile. And like
urchin.
Yeah, and then like the kid like kicks him and runs away or something.
Let's see.
I'm just, like I said, I pray that that's not Bruce Wayne.
It might be. They got to tie it in, but like Frosted Glass said, am I the only one who thinks Phoenix is too old for an origin story? Well, maybe, but I think they're taking a much different approach with this than since it's outside the main continuity.
The kid is young Leto's Joker. Well, maybe.
Never know.
Let's see.
That kid is Joe Chill.
Yeah, Chill meets Killing Joke could be cool. I was like, they already did that, and it was called Tim Burton's Batman.
Well, no, that kid could be Joe Chill.
I know. I'm just saying. They combined the characters in Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
Do you really think that kind of calculus enters into any writer's head where it's like, oh, I don't do Joe Chill because I'm pretty sure most executives and producers are going to be pointing out to them, who's
Joe Chill? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, that's the person who killed Bruce Wayne's parents when he was a kid. And it's like, so?
Yeah, no executive is going to... Well, see, that's the thing. I think we're also not giving credence to the fact that there is one very important thing. Remember who are executives. Like, yeah, you've got Warner Brothers to deal with, but then the executives, in charge of things like that, especially creative executives, Jim Lee. I mean, Jim Lee would definitely be down for stories like that. He loves doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. He loves is Jim Lee over on the film production side?
On the movies, no, but he could be brought in as a consultant. I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
It's a lot of money to pay someone to fucking consult. Like Jim Lee doesn't work for peanuts.
Well,
And
No, he doesn't.
They did hire Jeff Johns on Aquaman as a consultant, and look how that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fired him before the movie even came out.
They need to bring him back. They do.
Yeah, they do, because
Aquaman and Shazam are two major hits in my opinion, and that needs to continue.
This is Kyle says, do you think they'll ever do an adaptation of the Red Hood storyline?
Ooh, I would love to see that.
I was thinking about the this movie, and it occurred to me that if they're going to rip off elements from, or homage, whatever, borrow elements from Killing Joke, why not do elements from Red Hood, like from Killing Joke, where he goes for this ill-fated
Robbery.
Attack on a chemical plant, a robbery of a chemical plant. Not that that's what turns his skin, because clearly it's makeup that he's wearing, but just an ill-fated robbery, when because of his failed comedy career ends up getting involved with these crooks because he used to work there, etc. I'm wondering if it's not going to fit in that, because that trailer is what was it, October release date? It's a long fucking way off. There's they only use the footage that they had finished from post-production. So when I guess it's like, it seems like that footage is all from the first 30 minutes of the film. Maybe it is,
Never know.
Well, it couldn't be from the first 30 minutes because, there's the whole bit where he actually is the Joker. So
that's true.
I'm sure it's probably like the first 30 minutes and then the last 30 minutes or something.
But is he really the Joker at that point? We don't know. We don't know. They may have updated the Joker so he's got cybernetic limbs or something halfway through the
movie. You know what? That's my call. If you're gonna fail in a movie, like fail Batman and Joker big. Like I want to see a burning disaster of a film.
Batman and Robin bat.
Yes, I don't want to see these middling failures where it's just boring. I want to see Robo Joker bad.
Yep. No, he'll be like Joker Borg. He'll be like a cyborg Joker, but he's like 10 feet tall, and he gets taller because he has extendo legs for no reason.
You say that, but there actually are comics about that sort of thing.
I know. That's why they should just, if they're like halfway through the movie and the budget ran out, just go nuts with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Joker, steals the pink kryptonite to turn Superman gay. Like, just all the bad things in one movie. Fuck it. That's the way that they go diverse, is we'll bring the pink kryptonite back into canon.
No, they just get really wacky with it and have it go completely off the rails. Like, he steals a bunch of kryptonite and starts throwing it at Booster Gold, and Batman never shows up. It's just Booster Gold because that's all they could afford for characters. Or he fights the Creeper and no one can tell who's who after a while.
Hey, I love that episode of the animated series.
Yeah, that was great. But you could do some wacky stuff like that. Just like some C-list superhero shows up and you're like, who is this? Because 90% of people don't know. So it's like the Creeper and Commander Steel show up to stop him.
Every time you mention the Creeper, I just keep on remembering the animated series. Who are you? They call me Green-Skinned Wacky Man, but you can call me the Creeper. Someone call Arkham quick.
Well, we were talking about box office revenue and the way that things are started, and over here on the Hollywood Reporter, that a bunch of websites are talking about, is this story here. Avengers Endgame tracking for monster $200 to $250 million US debut. In my opinion, this is a pretty good example of activating media assets. It's like, let's just talk about how awesome this movie's going to be. You don't want to miss it, do you?
Well, at one point, yes, I do think that they're probably accurate.
I don't think they're wrong. Because they're basing it off of the calculations and formulae that they have to do it, like Fandango sales, etc.
But at the same time, I can also see there's some people that were worried about some of the the online backlash from Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. And they're trying to nip that in the bud by saying, "Hey, you guys didn't want Captain Marvel, but you want Endgame because everyone's going to see Miss Marvel to see Endgame."
I think there's a Solo Last Jedi thing going on. You know what I mean? Like people are going to go see something that's more in canon as opposed to one-offs. That sort of situation, where it's like, well, it's all the original Marvel characters and it's the big cinematic thing and the stuff that they've been pushing towards forever. My dad even went and saw Infinity War and thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Of all people. Like, he's not a comic book guy or a comic book movie guy, but he was like, oh, I heard a lot of things about this film. Like, you watched that? And it was like 2 weeks after he had seen it. And I was like, what did you think? He's like, I wasn't expecting that ending. It was really dour. And I was like, yes, it was. So like overall, he's like, it's kind of hard to remember. Like, I didn't know who all the characters were, but it was good. I said, you didn't feel confused. That was the thing. And he's like, nope. Said it before, and we've talked about it here. It's amazing how they ran that many separate stories at one time, and it didn't go to hell.
And I said, I still haven't seen it. Frosted Glass says, I only care what Chris Evans thinks about this.
I only care what Chris Evans thinks about Donald Trump. That's
well, isn't Thanos an allegory for Donald Trump?
No kidding. I mean,
so Donald Trump is going to be killed by something going up his ass?
No, he's going to just wipe everyone else out. Oh. That'll be how this one ends. Everybody dies.
If you
sorry to ruin the end of Endgame, guys, but Thanos wins again.
Nice. If you do read through this, it's very
Purple Man bad. Sorry, that caught me.
It does. It does read a lot like you would think the Hollywood Reporter is very boring, if you will. Like, it's just telling you about the numbers. Like, globally, Infinity War brought in 640.5 million, which was also a record. And it's like, box office analysts say it could open as large as 750 to 800 million. And it's thanks to day-to-date debut in China. What does that mean? Does anyone know? Day and date debut in China, like meaning identical openings as North America?
Maybe.
See, this is the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, AMC theaters and Fandango becoming clogged with traffic after tickets went on sale. Did you guys buy tickets? Well, not you, Quiz, but did you, Jack?
No.
No?
I don't buy tickets online. I'm lazy.
I buy tickets in advance, but not a fucking month in advance.
I buy tickets in advance for movies I'm actually going to see, yes.
Dude, I would buy tickets in advance if I had the memory span beyond a goldfish. Because I'll buy tickets and then forget that I have them and then not go. So I don't do that.
The like we go over here to the article that's in Bounding into Comics. Yeah, there's Purple Man right there.
Is he bad?
He doesn't he look it?
Very.
They should, that would have been great if they would have taken Thanos' helmet and made it into like this weird coif of blonde hair.
Oh my gosh, they put Thanos and PewDiePie in the same article? That's like twice the evil.
Right? Yeah, it's like after the Christchurch shooting, there's a petition because they're very effective. Don't let anyone tell you different. Change.org. That's where the change begins. This might be very conservative, as Deadline indicates, and so on. It's a 3-day earning of 300 million. Like, yeah, it's looking to be a huge thing. The grave course of events set in motion by Thanos that wiped out half the universe and fractured the Avengers rank compels the remaining Avengers to take one final stand in Marvel Studios' grand conclusion to 22 films. Avengers Endgame. Nobody counts the Hulk. It's 21. I mean, technically, but whatever. Do you think Endgame will follow the comic with Nebula stealing the Infinity Gauntlet? Yeah, spoilers. This is Kyle. For those who haven't read the 6-part original Infinity Gauntlet.
You mean Infinity War? Is it?
No.
Is it Infinity Gauntlet?
The sequel to Infinity Gauntlet was Infinity War. Yes, but the storyline of Thanos doing it originally was in Infinity Gauntlet. And if what you were talking, see that no X-Files, never read Infinity Gauntlet.
It didn't have the X-Men. Well, it probably had the X-Men, but it wasn't an X-Men story.
It did have the X-Men, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine's going to be a lot of help.
No, right? Angry midget with butter knives. Woo!
You know what? We're in the same league on this one because Spider-Man was in the story too, and even being a huge Spider-Man fan, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, leave him at home.
Yeah, well, like having Professor Xavier with the Shi'ar Empire would make more sense. But Wolverine, yeah, okay.
Like you need like kind of cosmic heroes and people of that sort, right? That for it to make sense. But it was supposed to be the entire Marvel universe in the comic line that was going to be involved. And again, Captain America, Steve Rogers in the MCU, my favorite character. I love him. I think he's fantastic. But like runny, strong guy with shield. Yeah, let's send him to fight the cosmically powered entity. But they managed to make it awesome because they have him go up against Thanos's minions, which is, you know, cool. Still managed to make it work. I have very few criticisms of Infinity War, the movie. Despite all of the ways it could have went wrong, it just didn't. Except too much Ruffalo.
There's always too much Ruffalo.
Yeah, there's like what the Hulk gets his ass kicked by Thanos and then doesn't show up as the Hulk for the remainder of the movie, right?
Yeah, he's got erectile dysfunction, exactly.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Polly said Mark Ruffalo has erectile dysfunction.
Or Hulk-tile dysfunction.
Yeah. So when we what was the story that I wanted to cover? Oh well, fuck it. Let's just go over to that because we mentioned Pewds there. Let's keep it on Pewds.
On the PewDiePie.
Will Wheaton attacks PewDiePie as a racist piece of shit bigot.
Oh my god. Shut up, Wesley!
Look at how smug that little shit looks too, and how happy PewDiePie is.
Right? This is a man who's loving life. This is, you know, I should take this into Photoshop. The normie meme with the crying NPC face behind it. Like this exemplifies it. I'm smiling but crying on the inside.
Yeah.
Seriously, man, what is Will Wheaton's problem?
He suffers from like post-childhood stardom depression because he was famous once and now he's just some annoying dork that people don't like.
Well, I got some thoughts in and around Will Wheaton. We talk about just because this is a real short article, so let's just like cover the article real quick. It's actor Will Wheaton, who voices Jonathan Rook in Netflix's Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters. Have you guys watched that? Did you know that was existed?
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of it. I know what a Stretch Armstrong toy is, but I didn't know Netflix. God, Netflix just funds all the things, huh?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jim, if you're still around, you really gotta pitch Blue Mamba over at Netflix. I mean,
yeah, right.
Actually, didn't we ask Jim about that before? And he said, hell no, because of the creative control thing. I'm trying to remember.
Could be.
But I mean, they will just they will fund all the things. It's like your boy Zach says. It seems like comics are being written and put out there just for potential IP optionings for Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, etc.
Well, yeah, you get that hit and you could be in some real money. So of course there's going to be people that do that.
Yeah. I say the next part of that though, I still have I'm taking a little umbrage at, as well as Aqualad and Teen Titans Go. First of all, who actually watches Teen Titans Go? Second of all, I don't care that he's Aqualad. How many episodes is he actually in being as Aqualad? Because the Teen Titans Go is all about fucking Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg.
Firestar's best Starfire.
Shut up.
Isn't it?
You're talking about
like a little kids show.
Why are you watching Teen Titans Go anyway, man?
It's there are adult jokes in Teen Titans Go, There are. One of my favorite bits about it is all of the R-rated material they have going on in the background that people don't realize, you know, if they don't read the comics. Like they keep on posting like stickers of all of the, it's supposed to look like kids putting stickers on the wall, you know, sort of thing. It's all cutesy and stuff like that until you realize that it's all of the Watchmen.
Yeah.
Well, all I know, haven't seen any X-Files. Okay.
You're banging away on that one. I should have never admitted that.
Hold on. The list of, like, we got 3 items on the list because now we've added, you watch Teen Titans Go. The evaporating credibility. My God.
not religiously. Not religiously.
Oh, don't backpedal now. It's fine.
Hey, you know what? X-Files isn't a fucking cartoon. That's why I didn't watch it.
All right, that's I'm just saying. And okay, so Jim, he's here, still here, and IP options are what most people are doing comics for now. That's sad to hear Jim confirm that thought.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, that was your boy Zach sort of like speculating. It seems this way, character generation for the sake of generating characters, like inside of a small little world, and like, okay, it's complete IP. Let's try and sell. It's kind of sad to hear Jim confirm that he thinks that's the case too. And rights aren't always worth what you think. Yeah, I have no idea what an optioning goes for. I can see it being a highly
the money's not in the optioning; it's in the merchandising afterward when they actually start producing things for it. Like if it gets successful, then you're going to get money off of like your cut of the merchandising and the toys and the shirts and all that goofy shit. That's where you make the real money. Thanks, George Lucas.
I do remember watching an interview with, I think it's Joel Silver, one of the monster producers in Hollywood, right? That does a lot of action films. I think it's Joel Silver. And he was talking about Top Gun when they optioned an article that was about the Special Weapons Fighter School, like the actual name for the Top Gun school in the US Navy. And it was an article just describing what they did, and they optioned that. And that was like my introduction to just how many things actually get optioned. Where it's like you can't, and no one else can make a movie now because they optioned this one article about it. That means that they've taken the entire thing off the table for any other studio making any fighter jet.
You don't have to option it to make it. You can option it to keep other people from making it.
Right. You know what I mean? And they paid, it was like $5,000. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
and it's like $5,000 to take it off the table. And they ended up making, of course, Top Gun, which was like a fucking cash cow for them at the time and continued to be. That's wild. So it's like when Jim says, yeah, some of the optioning money isn't what you think it is. And it's like, yeah, I could absolutely believe that. It's just like the little payout. And then, but we keep the comic rights to it, right? Like we can still, you know, Captain Marvel gets big as a movie. So now we're going to restart Captain Marvel 17 times and do official adaptations and try and sell other things off hype around it.
That's one of the theories behind why B. Clay Moore didn't finish that Kickstarter for Hawaiian Dick, because the theory goes that his characters got optioned and he didn't reserve the right to make more comics off of it while it's optioned.
Oh.
So until the option expires and he gets all the rights back, he can't produce new ones without getting sued. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it makes a lot of sense. You want to have a good entertainment lawyer go through your agreements before you sign them and read all that carefully.
And that's what I started thinking, like it highly negotiable. It strikes me that optioning stuff is worth, like optioning a brand new IP and they're just looking to take it so other studios aren't going to be making some superhero stuff and saturating the market and diluting the market, right? So you're just buying it to take it off the table. I can see not much money in that. But then if it's a big IP, I could see the difference between optioning amounts being from it's 4 figures or high 6 figures. Like, you know, who the fuck knows, right? It seems like a very negotiable thing.
I wonder, you know, it's funny you mentioned negotiation. I wonder how many artists or writers actually bring in a negotiator or even negotiate the price of their optioning.
Probably not very many.
Yeah. I wonder how many just see the dollar value, say, well, that's more than what I'm making on the comic right now. Fuck it. Yeah. Give me the money.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, that would depend on how much work I put into it. Like how dedicated am I to this premise? that I think I can make more money off of it. Because if you shovel $5,000 at me for something I spent 10 minutes working on for a premise and squirted out a script over 2 days, I'll be like, yeah, give me $5,000. Haha, suckers.
Well, see, okay, here's a hypothetical for you then, Jack. Okay.
Mhm.
Say I don't know, Wizards of the Coast decides to start making like tutorial movie video sort of things around DMing, and they want to option your book. Would you take it?
Yeah, probably, because I
like
literally
$5,000?
did that in one day.
Say then that we get a whole shit ton of subscribers. Somehow, some way, Comic Book Curation goes viral. You get a lot of exposure. People are clamoring to buy your book, but they took out the option for that.
I have other books.
I know.
I will write a new crappy book. I already have 5 out there. I will write another crappy book
I'm just
and
saying,
be like, here's my new book, all people that love me now.
Fair enough. Okay.
See, it's all about like how
nobody
much
is optioning Jack's laundry. It's not happening.
You don't know that, Polly. But like, if they optioned one of my other books, I would probably not want to. I would be more hesitant because I put more work into some of those.
Oh, okay.
But like a couple of them, I didn't put any real work in, and it really shows.
Do you know who hasn't put in work in?
Sucker.
Do you know who hasn't put in work in, and it shows? Will Wheaton, who thinks PewDiePie is a racist piece of shit bigot. Actor Will Wheaton, who voices Jonathan. Oh God, that's how Stretch Armstrong took fucking Stretch Armstrong
and Aqualad.
And well, no, the Aqualad was you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
On Teen Titans Go, attacked popular YouTuber PewDiePie, aka Felix Schellberg, I believe it's
Schellberg, yes.
Schellberg. K is an S. Go figure.
Mm-hmm. His name's not PewDiePie.
Yes, he legally changed his name to PewDiePie.
As much money as he's making, I would consider it.
No last name, just PewDiePie.
Yeah, like Cher.
Like Prince.
Yeah. In a now deleted in a now deleted post on Facebook, because he's a coward, Wheaton called PewDiePie a quote racist piece of shit bigot. Okay, hold on. Why did you put asterisks over here and then you just wrote it here? Anyways, Wheaton would also attack Facebook, writing, "Fuck you for recommending and providing a platform for this racist piece of shit bigot."
You do know that Facebook isn't hosting his videos, right? Like, that's not where he gets all of his traffic. He gets it from YouTube, not Facebook.
The fact that he even came up, the whole thing amongst, I know it's an overused term, but the social justice types, right, is that platforming, don't provide the platform, which seems to be a more subtle way of you need to 100% mute them. Like if you name them, if you bring them up in any kind of way that isn't negative, you're platforming them somehow. I've noticed that. Anyway, YouTuber Poison Pixie, wait a minute. He attacks PewDiePie on Facebook and came after Facebook suggesting he join PewDiePie's Facebook group. Yikes, Will Wheaton thinks he's relevant. YouTuber Poison Pixie, who claims to be a huge Will Wheaton fan, would also capture a number of Wheaton's comments in response to fans criticizing his attacks on Pewds. As captured by Poison Pixie, Wheaton noted, "I've heard the endless string of racist and bigoted things come straight out of his mouth for years. It was a joke. Is not the get out of being racist for free card that he seems to think it is. He's a racist and a bigot, and it's fine if you're going to be a big fan of his, but don't pretend that he isn't what he is based on his own words." She would also capture... What's that?
And then his PewDiePie's lawyers got in touch.
She would also
liable.
Yeah, well, whatever. She would also capture Wheaton saying he doesn't have to be perfect. He just has to not be a racist. Wheaton would post a follow-up on Facebook. And then there's the archive link explaining why he deleted the post. Wheaton would write, "I'm a sad little man that's trying for..." Oh, no. I wanted to lock comments on the post I made yesterday about PewDiePie because it's filling up with truly vile, racist, homophobic, misogynist, bigoted memes and comments from people who have flooded on my page.
Holy shit! Do we have a bell? Here, hold on. Wait a second.
I think I got bingo.
I was gonna say yeah, because racist, ding! Homophobic, ding! Misogynistic, ding!
Don't forget, and like if you would have thrown in xenophobic or Islamophobic, because Felix cracks a few Muslim jokes here and there, like you kind of left that out, man. Xenophobic and Islamophobic, one or the other would have kind of covered that base.
He's also ableist because PewDiePie plays video games all the time, and as we learned recently from another article, that is ableism.
Oh yeah, no, that was it was from a journalist from whatever fucking thing talking about accessibility, even though like she's not trying to make a point about blind people playing video games, which first of all, yeah, okay, get your yucks out of that one, but she's doing it because she's saying like people who aren't good at video games should be allowed to play video games. You're allowed to play video games, you retard.
No, there has to be an easy mode.
Just get
otherwise
good.
It's ableist. So he's an ableist as well. Sorry, Polly.
Well, don't apologize to me. Apologize to Will Wheaton, because he went after that list of people filled up this comment with vile, racist, homophobic, misogynist, bigoted memes and comments from people who have flooded onto my page to, I guess, make the point that this guy isn't a racist bigot. Seems kind of weird to throw a bunch of alt-right nice, bing.
No,
alt-right,
yeah, yep.
Throws a bunch of alt-right memes at me as an argument that this guy doesn't support their alt-right hatred. Bing. Yeah, it's almost like they're making my point for me. Parents whose kids are really into this guy. Are these the people you want your children around? Yeah.
I'm just glad that Wheaton found a job that he's good at, like building straw men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter. Hey, he's here.
Peter.
I wanted to lock it because I don't have time to delete all the vile, racist, hateful garbage that these kids have time to post. I only have time to delete my own accounts. But Facebook won't let me lock comments. That seems like a problem. Facebook, put it on your ever-growing list of things you're doing wrong. Wow, Facebook isn't censorious enough for him and allowing him to block the alt-right hatred he's being inundated with. So I deleted it, which I know a significant percentage of shitty little
proto-racists. Ding.
Oh, that you need a hyphen in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proto-racists will treat it as some kind of victory. I don't think they will.
No.
It's a time management thing for me, but you, my dudes. Oh, you see what he did, my dudes? See, kind of turned it around a little bit. But here's the thing. Whether you believe that guy is a racist or not, it makes me truly profoundly sad that so many people seem to be entirely comfortable with dehumanizing people based on their race. I sincerely hope that these posts are coming from teenagers whose empathy hasn't fully developed. I truly hope that they grow out of this celebration of racism and dehumanizing behavior to come to understand that, yes, words can be exceptionally hurtful to people who have done absolutely nothing to deserve it. Please choose kindness.
Oh, yeah. People who've done absolutely nothing to deserve it. Like you shitting on someone who is patently not a racist. Will Wheaton did nothing wrong. It's a good boy.
I'm just saying, appropriating the mustache and fez of Turkish Shriners. Oh, it's kind of white-facing the Turks. Kind of racist a little bit. Just saying there.
I need to open up a Streamlabs right now so that I could fund a little desk bell for these streams. So any buzzword that comes up, just ding.
Man, I hope that his wife's boyfriend has a long talk with him about being a grown-up.
Well, we're just going to get into what's going on with Will here in just a hot second. This remaining materials, it looks like it's largely from the journalist at Bounding into Comics, where they say it's interesting. Wheaton says, "Please choose kindness" after he attacked PewDiePie by calling him a racist piece of shit bigot. Maybe Wheaton should take his own advice instead of attacking PewDiePie. Wheaton isn't alone in attacking the Pewds. Petition created, one of those highly effective petitions created by Maria Ruiz called for YouTube to ban PewDiePie because he's normalizing white supremacy. The petition has been signed by over 50,000 people. A counter petition has been created to remove Maria Ruiz from change.org. Oh my God. Just, I want to go there and start a petition on stop useless petitions, something along those lines. It's just for the kecks. Meanwhile, PewDiePie once again pulled ahead of T-Series, and his goal to be the most subscribed YouTuber currently is at 92,578,141 subs. What do you make of Will Wheaton's? Yeah, blah blah blah. So go ahead and comment. Okay, so poor Will here. Let's just bring back that picture of him in the fez. You sad little man, you. So. Okay, Bill had something of a resurgence after years of just being, idiotic Wesley, right? Being this guy and being hated for it. And he kind of became a game guy, like board games, comics, like just like a nerd-oriented guy. Mm-hmm. And he had a genuine interest in that material, in like the nerd world. Tabletop gaming and so on. And then he became like an online moralist, for want of a better word. And I honestly think it was like, dude, you kind of started to rebuild a reputation. You got on Big Bang Theory in a bunch of ways and like that was a big part of rising your notoriety. Like I remember that, and it was like, okay, good for you, man, because you were a really hated guy and you've kind of created your own little self-made niche here. And then he turns into a moralist and everybody hates him. And it's like, dude, can't you stop having people hate you? Like, do you get off on it or something?
I think he does at this point. You see, that's the thing is that like, I used to be okay with Will Wheaton until he became this sort of, moralizer sort of thing. I actually didn't mind his tabletop show on Geek and Sundry. It's where I found a lot of obscure tabletop games that my friends and I still enjoy to this day. I don't give Will Wheaton credit for it anymore. I give the people who made the games credit for it. I just kind of tend to conveniently forget that Will Wheaton was the one that introduced me to it because, I don't watch that shit anymore because of the kind of person that Will Wheaton is. And by the way, I'd just like to point out, I've never interacted with Will Wheaton, never really talked about Will Wheaton at all. Blocked by him on Twitter.
Well, he is running a block bot. I remember him talking about it. That there's nothing wrong with deplatforming hatred kind of thing, all right? And it, Jack, you said it really like, just look at that smug face. If it wasn't this article, like it was just Will Wheaton throws his own money behind, new Cthulhu tabletop game, like whatever. Like, I don't think we'd be looking at it as smug. It'd be like, oh shit, so Will's doing things. Like, you know what I mean? It's, do you want to be hated, Wheaton?
I think he just thinks he's better than us.
I think it's yes. You're both right. He views everyone who doesn't, have his myopic view of the world as literally Nazis. I mean, that's as much as what his Twitter fucking name is.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen what his Twitter name is?
This account mocks fascist Wheaton?
Yeah, I was gonna say I know you're probably blocked already, but yeah,
like, is that
this account mocks fascist?
Is that what happens when you are just in the Hollywood environment? You're absolutely surrounded by people and you know to shut up and echo certain points. I mean, I'm on a campus and I know not to crack certain jokes. And I don't even mean racist jokes. I just mean any joke aimed at any mildly left political figure or whatever. Don't make fun of Ocasio-Cortez as an example, because it will identify you as a fucking MAGA Nazi. Just
No, I
don't
think
do it.
this is more like he's in a bubble and he doesn't, he kind of has other people around him that are just like him, so he doesn't hear outside perspectives and respect them. He thinks those are all fringe loony people and he's the normal one.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes me think. Remember, what is the actor's name who plays Agent Coulson?
Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg. Nice. Look at you with the
Two
names,
first
buddy.
names. Can't trust people like that except Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Or Clark Kent.
I don't know. That Kent guy's an
Kent,
alien.
Is Kent a first name?
Yeah.
It can be.
I know somebody whose first name is Kent. Yeah. In any case, he goes on the Nerdist and he makes this comment about this long comment, really, that I can't understand people that would be that upset about somebody else having a hero who looks like them, referring to people who hate the Captain Marvel movie and are denigrating it online and saying stuff about it and downvoting it and all the other things, simply because it's a woman who's the protagonist. And
that's not why people hate her.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. He goes so far as to say something, that kind of close-minded thinking, something so backwards. I can't imagine being that kind of person, sort of lumbering off to the tar pits, insinuating sort of soon to be dead dinosaur. Right? This was his comment, and it got me, thinking, like, who have you been talking to? Like, I only saw one of two possibilities going on there on that Nerdist interview. Fuck the Nerdist, by the way.
Oh yeah, the Nerdist is awful.
They're beyond all, like, who the fuck is paying your bills? Who's backing you up? Because you do nothing but the hardest of fucking shilling. And you've got like 1.9 million subscribers and your videos get like 10,000 views. The fuck are you guys doing?
To say it's certainly not Chris Hardwick anymore, which is the reason why Nerdist is failing so bad.
So I thought one of two things is going on here. Either Disney sent him out there to say these things, like, look, this is what's going on. You need to come against it, like, really roughly and speak down. That anybody who's disagreeing with this movie or doesn't like this movie is simply a sexist. They're an alt-righter, what have you. Or he's actually under that impression. I see that being the more likely one, being in the bubble, like you said, Jack.
I think he's just a zealot. He's just one of these like diehard male feminists, and
I don't even. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think he is.
Like, Will Wheaton is, at least, yes.
If you were to go on Twitter and kind of create a self-fulfilling prophecy by typing out, I'm really happy, to have Captain Marvel, our first film starring a woman, whatever, and you don't really think anything of it, and it's a statement of fact, that is true. And then all of a sudden you got all these people going, fuck you, buddy, you cocksucker. She needs to stay in the kitchen. Oh, she's not making me a sandwich, and, blah, blah, blah. It's like, holy shit. And that's where the tar pit comment comes from.
Yeah, well,
that's an aspect of living in this bubble where you say something and you're going to notice the negative commentary much more than anything positive.
Yeah, but if you don't know that the internet's a sewer, how did you get on it?
Do you really think that Hollywood actors have any kind of sense of what's going on online?
No, but I also don't think they're terribly intelligent. At the same time, I would say that, like, Clark Gregg got put up to saying that. But I think Will Wheaton believes that. See, Clark Gregg as an actor, I think he's a fairly intelligent person from what I've seen of his interviews. I don't think that of Will Wheaton. I think he's kind of dumb.
I will say this, though. That does not excuse what Clark Gregg said, though.
No, it doesn't. But I think he was put out there to say those things. He might believe them. I don't know.
I thought about it, and it's like, I could have a conversation with Clark Gregg, and within a few short number of sentences back and forth, be able to get him to say something along the lines of, well, I mean, come on, let's not belabor this. Like, I want to move on. Because just be like, it's like, wow, people said that. Like, other than like disembodied idiots that you can't count on being not 12-year-olds like online, like, where did you read that? Where did you hear that? That's awful that somebody would say that I hate this movie simply because a woman is in it. That's disgusting. It's like, well, where? Well, come on, no, I don't know where. That's why I'm asking you, man. Where the hell did, like, that's awful.
Yeah.
Why isn't this being openly condemned by Disney and Marvel Studios? It's like, well, I'm here. So they told you to say that? Like, I mean, where's this? Who said that? We need to name and shame. It's like, because really nobody said that. Isn't that the whole point? I can see him very quickly saying, well, let's not belabor the point. Let's talk about this movie, you know?
Yeah. If that's the case, though, I would hope that the person errs on the side of ignorance or ignorance of the fact and not try to make an affirmative statement on it. The fact that you can just go out and say, oh, it's racist and sexist without even critically thinking about it speaks volumes of you, not your opinion.
Oh, Peter was a little confused there. He's like, did you say Clark Kent? Yes, we did say Clark Kent, but then we moved on to talking about Clark Gregg. Wow. Yeah. No, you weren't confused. We were confused. But I want to see if I'm blocked by Will Wheaton. See if I'm following the... is it just his name?
Will W. W-I-L-W.
That's it?
Yep.
At W-I-L-W.
We're finding out. Talk amongst yourselves.
Have you seen the trailer for El Chicano?
No.
It looks pretty fun. I'll throw it in the chats. Don't watch it till after the stream, audience, because I'm gonna pretend we're better. But it looks.
I've never tweeted at him or talked to him. Yep. I'm fucking blocked.
So you like his no NRA banner? Isn't that really crafty?
Yeah, he's good for you. Will.
Grown up. No, it's funny is my bad comic reviews Twitter account is not blocked.
Really?
Do you follow yourself?
Yeah, my other account's blocked. My D reviewer.
Well, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I'm really good friends with the owner of the D reviewer Twitter account.
Yeah.
So he follows my real world name. I'm not saying I run them both, but I'm not saying it either.
See, I think that it's funny, talking about people eating their own sort of thing. There's a couple of people I kind of like on YouTube, even though whenever they get into politics, they're just straight cancer. But I like their video game content. And they're, like I said, their political stuff, they probably align with Will Wheaton. But I guarantee you the reason why I'm blocked by Will Wheaton is because I follow them. Even though they probably agree with Will Wheaton on all of his anti-Trump TDS sort of stuff. But I'm probably blocked because I follow them. I guarantee you that's why. Because they don't like Will Wheaton at all.
And Jimmy Lynn says he's not blocked by Will Wheaton. So I would love to compare all four of our follows to see what's the culprit. Who is it that you and I are following that did this?
Yeah, who is it that we're following that gets us blocked by Will Wheaton?
There's probably a dozen people I'm following that got me blocked by Will Wheaton.
Like, the only one I can think of is the Continue guys.
I follow Roaming Millennial and Lawrence Southern.
I don't follow either one of those.
Because they're hot, and I want to bone them both. And your boy Zach.
I'm surprised that didn't do it right there.
Probably.
Yeah.
It could be any of these people. There's a whole list of people that I follow from different. I follow Trump too, because he is the president, and I would like to know if we're going to drop a nuke on someone.
Yeah. Do you think they'd say it on Twitter?
Well, I think he'd say it on Twitter before he had a press conference, don't you?
That is fucking retarded.
Oh, you're telling me I'm wrong?
No, you're probably not wrong, and that's the reason why it's fucking retarded.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. As a collapsitarian, though, I find joy in many things.
Why don't we go over to something a little bit different for fun, as opposed to fuck this person, fuck that. Let's see Linda Hamilton say fuck someone. Linda Hamilton roasts new Terminator movies quote, they're very forgettable, which is,
including the one you're going to be in.
Well, I think she meant like every one that she wasn't personally in is kind of what I'm taking, but I haven't read this article.
Well,
so let's
not entirely wrong based on the title.
Well, Linda Hamilton roasts new Terminator movies and spoke to Variety at CinemaCon, where she roasted them. Hamilton, who was at CinemaCon to promote Terminator Dark Fate, called the most recent Terminator films, quote, very forgettable. Hamilton would state she had seen most recent Terminator films, but that she did not see Terminator Genesis, which starred Emilia Clarke, Jason Clarke, and Jai Courtney alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you think maybe she didn't want to see Terminator Genesis because she didn't want to see hot Emilia Clarke playing her as a young woman because she didn't want to be reminded she's 61? You think maybe?
Dude, I love Emilia Clarke, and I would do really raunchy things with her, but that movie was pretty bad.
I think you're also mispronouncing that. It's Jenna Swiss.
Huh?
Wait, what?
Jenna Swiss is
it's S-Y-S.
First
or
of
Jenna
all,
Cease?
Jenna Swiss would make a great porn name.
Jenna Swiss?
Yes. She's some Swedish chick.
You guys all have problems. First of all, I didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about, Quiz. Like,
it'll be on the Siffy channel.
This is Siffy channel. Yeah, they say Genesis is not spelled with a Y.
What's the name of an operating system in the movie? Didn't you see the movie?
No.
It's terrible. Don't watch it.
There we go. I'm vindicated.
Just watch it like a highlight reel of Emilia Clarke looking hot with guns.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Look at Emilia Clarke in that movie, like playing young Sarah Connor. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah,
look at those pouty lips, waiting for naughtiness to break out.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And I still haven't seen Game of Thrones, but you know, the whole fucking Jason Momoa thing, it just turns me off. Anyway,
let it go, Polly.
I won't.
I say don't let it go, Polly. It amuses me greatly.
Frosted Glass can't wait to see Terminator Dark Fate.
Okay, so let's see what she's saying here. She would say, clarifying, quote, I wanted them all to be good. You know, you start something and you're invested in the franchise, but somehow the characters that you care about weren't there. Too many people, too many story points, and the focus of just a few people that you are rooting for isn't there. She noted in Terminator Dark Fate, they're narrowing things down to focus again so that it will echo the first two films with that weird butch, possibly Terminator chick. Dude. I'm going to say, dude, you know, that we see. Anyway. When Hamilton was asked how many Terminator films she signed on for, she joked, I'm going to fake my own death so I don't have to do another one.
I don't blame her.
Hamilton also told Variety that she gave considerable thought to returning to Terminator Dark Fate. Quote, I gave it probably 6 weeks of intense thinking and consideration before deciding to do it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I didn't
They backed a truckload of money up to my door, and I said yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I didn't want to do it to look like a shameless money grab. Something about a dump truck of money. Yeah. I am living this quiet, lovely life that doesn't involve being a celebrity. And you really have to think, do you really want to trade that again for another 15 minutes? Well, you know, she says like this, quiet, lovely life. Yeah, that divorce settlement with James Cameron left you hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to live that quiet life. You know?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm totally jealous.
Right?
I would have settled for like $3 million and been like, I'd never have to appear outside again.
Hamilton first starred in The Terminator back in 1984 as Sarah Connor when she was still looking hot. She would also go on to reprise her role in the groundbreaking Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where she looked like this. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
T2 Linda Hamilton. Hot as fuck. Badass. Loved her in it.
The guns add +1.
Yeah, right.
You mean her arms or the guns?
Yes.
Going back on the whole tactical thing.
Yes.
I was gonna say, Linda Hamilton in that movie. I mean, she had so many guns and she never really used them.
No, well, I mean, yeah, there's like the pit of guns that was out at her friend's place out in the desert, and it, yeah, I mean, but that was like for the guns after Judgment Day had happened, right? So she needed as many as possible. But I mean, God, you just look at her, hot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, look at this.
Look at that muscle, the muscle definition. Wait, I wonder how much a toy like that costs nowadays. I just.
Oh my God, that is awful. That is so uncomplimentary. If she saw that, she'd probably break out into tears. I would. Like, I mean, holy shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, it looks like something that wandered out of Puppet Masters.
I mean, yeah, but she absolutely did work out together. I mean, look at the
that's some definition on those arms, man.
See, I don't know. I have these strong opinions about how far off base the common feminist critique is that men are scared of competent women, of powerful women, and it's like, no, it's just, I think you're confusing a powerful woman or a competent woman or an independent woman with a fucking harpy. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, being a strong woman does not mean being a raging bitch.
Yeah.
There's lots of good strong women characters. My favorite example is Patricia Tallman in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. She was a strong woman. Not because she ran around with a bunch of guns acting like a real bitch and had the side of her head shaved. No, it's because she was trying to survive a situation. And
is that the nurse that was in? Or the she was an attending, wasn't she? She was a resident doctor.
What?
Am I thinking of the wrong movie?
Night of the Living Dead?
Okay, I'm thinking of Dawn of the Dead. Never mind.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on in chat? I just looked over at Frosted Glass is talking about Jason Momoa nailing CRP. What the fuck is happening?
I wondered how long that would take. Quit said that somebody asked why you were upset with Jason Momoa, and he said Momoa is nailing your crush.
Yes.
And then he said, so CRP.
yeah, that's it. It's not the other way around at all. Besides, CRP has a crush on Eve. We all know that.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we were doing an article here.
Were we?
Yeah, we actually were.
Where am I? What are we doing?
Yeah, so it's almost over.
Who are you people?
Hamilton starred, and then she would do voice work for Terminator Salvation in 2009. I remember that, but would not participate in Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, which is why they had her dead, and Terminator Geisys. Terminator Dark Fate is potentially the first of a new trilogy. Terminator producer James Cameron spoke about his trilogy plans in July of 2017. Quote, right now, we're leaning towards doing a 3-film arc and reinventing it. The film is expected to be a direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Fuck you, other films.
Yeah, right. That's what I heard about it, is that this new film was supposed to invalidate all of the other previous Terminator films. This is just a big old hawk and loogie straight in the director's eye.
Yeah. And the movie will be able to introduce new characters for the movie to pass the baton to. Like that thing, whatever that is.
Oh no, Polly.
Yes.
That weird, like, Terminator 2 doll.
Yeah.
It's a sideshow doll.
What? How?
Yeah.
But it looks awful.
Is it a manufacturer error?
Well, let's put it this way. It's not on their website anymore. But I'm seeing a whole bunch of... I'm looking for the sauce of that. But the thing about it is there's another one that's actually a different one that's a statue that looks really good. I don't know, it's really weird. Here, I can show some of them. Like here, this is the exclusive sideshow 12-inch Terminator 2 Judgment Day Sarah Connor figure. And you can see right here, Sideshow Collectibles.
Yeah, but the head on that one isn't
Oh yeah,
ridiculously bobble-sized, is it?
yeah, no, it is. I say, look at it. It's the right proportions. That is the sauce.
I don't know. I mean, the arms look the same, like with the hinges and everything, but
Yeah.
over here it looks like a ridiculous bobblehead.
Well, but see, here's the other one that. Well, no, sorry. Here, this is the xlshop.com. This is the one you can see. Bobblehead. Which is that she's got the goggle head on instead of the
Those look like
one.
two different heads.
They are.
Hey, you know what?
Oh.
Chat, you tell us. Is this the same, like that figure and then that figure? Is that the same figure?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it to me.
What do you think? Like that head looks like proportioned. This one looks like it should be on a car dash.
Well, what's weird is that the one that you've got there,
Yeah.
the skin tones are two entirely different like shades.
Yeah, I'm with Jim. That looks like a custom sculpt of some kind.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you're picking on the Kardashians.
But here,
what?
Look at this one.
You said it should be on a Kardashian.
Look at this one. This one is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Here, I'll zoom in on it, dude. Like that looks really, really good.
Yeah, that one looks badass.
Yeah, that does.
But oh my god!
Wow,
what is with this one?
But why did they? Where's the super musculature? They made her arms all smooth and not ripped like they were in the movie.
Yeah, I know. I say I don't know. It still looks good in my opinion, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of. we talked about Sideshow before. I just figured it'd be pertinent to bring that up.
Okay, so
The
there's
only Sideshow I respect is Sideshow Bob.
Boo.
Well, Jim says it's a custom sculpt, not actually a Sideshow model. Remember, Sideshow do just productions as well as first party sculpting and stuff like that. When it's like a doll rather than a statue, usually that's a third party sort of thing.
They're not called dolls; they're called action figures.
Well, whatever.
Right?
that clearly wasn't a statue. Is my point.
And Far's in chat. I came in expecting comics, and I get whatever the hell this is. What? Talking about Sideshow sculpts of Terminator characters? That's comic related.
There have been Terminator comic books.
Yeah,
there's tons of them. Tons of them.
We do sci-fi and everything in and around. I gotta, when I'm on Monkey in the Morning, right? Jack, you've been there a whole bunch. And it's like, I say, Jack, Quiz and I talk about comic books and pop culture and everything. I got to figure out a better description for what we do here. Because it makes sense to me. But
it's pop culture. That's all.
Yeah, but when you say pop culture, you end up sounding like fucking Will Wheaton. You know what I mean? Like
no, because I'm not like, oh my god, there's too much toxic masculinity in pop culture. Won't somebody love me? No, that's how Will Wheaton sounds.
Who has the bigger Sideshow collection? Between whom?
Jim,
the answer is you. Like, just it's you. Like, we've seen your Sideshow collection.
What are we talking about this movie anyway?
What movie?
I don't know. Aren't we talking something
Terminator
about
movie.
Hamilton?
Yeah, we're talking about the Terminator movie, the new Terminator, not Endgame. It's Terminator Dark Fate. Dark Fate.
Okay, so when is this coming out? Because I've been hearing about this movie for like 2 years.
That's an excellent fucking question. When the fuck is that movie coming out, actually?
Yeah.
Let's find out right now. Talk amongst yourself while I type.
So, Amelia Clark, hot or just another prop of Mimosa?
Prop?
Yes, because he just is finding out who Polly likes and having sex with them.
Yeah, right?
Motherfucker. Lisa Bonetti ain't no one's prop,
motherfucker. Polly.
Look, this is what I'm saying, okay?
Hashtag Jack Strikes Back.
You know what? Oh yeah,
No,
the pistol whipping threat wasn't enough.
Theory I worked out the other day. I worked this out the other day. I think you cut this guy off in traffic at some point, and he has been spending all of these millions. He became a movie star just to get even with you by sleeping with women you find attractive.
Yeah.
My point is this: hasn't she been through enough? Lisa Bonet was a beautiful woman, beautiful young woman, and then she runs into Lenny Kravitz, who turns her into a crazy hippie because he did his little Svengali bullshit and warped her fucking mind, and she came out as Liliquai Moon. And just when she finally starts getting her life back together and becoming a normal person, she runs into this Mimosa character.
No, he sought her out because he claims that she was his childhood crush. No, it's because Polly cut him off in traffic. He found out everything he could about Polly and was like, oh, so he likes this weird hippie chick who's probably got really hairy legs and smells like tuna. I'm going to go bang on that and ruin his dreams.
Tuna?
I don't know. She looks smelly.
Who,
maybe
Lisa
like
Bonet?
Yeah, I don't know. She looks kind of smelly. She's
you could go to hell.
She's a hippie, dude.
Hell, man.
I'm sure she smelled like lilacs before she went all Lenny Kravitz, but no, she looked a little stinky back in the day.
It is scheduled to be released, Terminator Dark Fate, on November 1st, 2019.
Oh, okay. That's not that far away.
Yeah.
It's a November release, yeah.
Jesus. The tuna comment, man. My God.
Hey, man, hippie chicks, they don't smell real good. I'm sorry.
It's usually patchouli oil, though. That's the difference.
No, I think she went the everything's got to be sandalwood and potpourri and like that version of hippie chick. That's my call.
Well, if that's the case, then shouldn't you be feeling sorry for Jason Momoa?
No, because he's stalking Polly's loves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like Amelia Clark. Like, next thing I'm gonna find out, this guy's like banging, I don't know, like fucking Rebecca Hall or something. Like,
he might be listening.
Frosted Glass. Can't wait for Aquaman 2. Plowing Laura Harrier.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You dirty bastard. No. That's. This stream has turned against me in a horrible way. Right? Plowing Laura Harrier.
That does sound like a movie name, though. From the
it does. It sounds like a horrifying porn. What are you talking about? Okay, this is the picture that we're talking about. Just for clarity, this is the original. What would they call it? The production photo that came off of Terminator during the filming, and this individual in the center is who we're speaking of. Like, nobody's sure if this is supposed to be a Terminator or not because of the various lines on, I'm guessing, her arms and across the chest and stuff like that. So it's like, is this a Terminator that was made to look human? Like in,
I don't know. It looks like an angry librarian that did way too many prison workouts.
Yeah, and everybody had a lot of ball busting for because I mean, you only get this one photograph and it's like, what the hell's going on here? What is this? What's her name has the little super short shotgun, the 3-round badass, and it's like, what are you going to do with that? What a waste of time. Everyone forgot to notice that she has a Chiappa Rhino in her.
Chiappa Rhino.
Well, angry soccer mom, androgyny, and discount store Mila Kunis there aren't exactly inspiring a lot of confidence in this film.
I gotta say, I'm in it for Linda Hamilton, man. I mean, that shotgun is a little short. I don't care. She's got the Chiappa Rhino. She's got fucking high explosive grenades and a fucking RPG on her back. She's still there to kick ass and chew bubblegum, man. I'm perfectly fine. And
I hear you. Yeah.
I don't care about the other two. Who gives a shit?
It's one I can't figure. So she's got a couple of like what look like, I don't know, gas canister grenades. What's this thing?
It's an RPG.
Is that what's going on back there?
Yeah, it's on the other side, dude. You can see the whole.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Okay.
RPG.
Right.
That's
the other side. I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. There's the front part of this. Yeah. Okay.
Wait. RPG. That's a map case for a map of Faerun? What?
Ryan Walters is the new Charlie's Angels. What kind of bizarro world is this Charlie's Angels? And like, seriously, you better be a Terminator walking around after the apocalypse with just a fucking piece of rebar to hit people with.
Well, what's Mila Kunis over there going to do? Flash her boobs? I mean, she doesn't do anything. That better be the Terminator.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. The only reason I'll watch this is because Linda Hamilton's in it.
Absolutely.
And Schwarzenegger's in it, apparently.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you should see the pictures of Schwarzenegger as like like bearded old man in this film. They're not hiding his age even remotely. It's supposed to be part of the context of the story, and it's
I was afraid they'd go all smooth Yoda on him.
No.
The one thing I was wondering is, like, I haven't seen a high risk picture. You think this is maybe like a Cyberdyne Systems shirt?
No.
It
doesn't. No, doesn't look like Cyberdyne.
She looks like a barista at a low end Starbucks knockoff.
Well, I don't get it. Why would you go with, like, so you got like Linda Hamilton, and she's there for, she's the character, right? She's Sarah Connor, and has played her for a long time. And then you go with androgynous, we're not certain, we're confused, and then like pretty barista girl. I don't get it. Where did she get all the makeup to do her contour facial application after the apocalypse?
I don't know, but she's cute.
It could be Cyberdyne. I just went and tried to look up Cyberdyne logos, and it's a delta with a Y in the center of it.
But not this?
No, it's not exactly that, but it's pretty close.
Weird. But I mean, like, what that shirt doesn't really make any sense as a Cyberdyne shirt. Like, what is she, like, at a Cyberdyne gas station working as an attendant?
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say it looks like a shop worker or something.
Yeah, she looks like she's just about to sell something at a retail store.
Nope.
The
on screen. There we go.
Richard
See,
Art
this is what I was talking about. Cyberdyne
Oh, it does look like that. It's a Triforce. Oh my god, they're gonna save Zelda.
Peter says, I'm on my phone. The pic is small. Is that girl Asian or Hispanic? I can't tell you, Peter. It's not because your phone's small. It's hard to tell. Yeah, Jack, you're our resident Asian expert. What do you think?
I think she's Hispanic or Latinx, as the kids say.
Latinx.
She's cute, though. I'll give her that. That's about all she's really got going on. Otherwise, I don't know why she's there. It looks like the weirdest Reservoir Dogs impersonation ever, where they're just walking on the street and somebody else just wandered up and decided to walk with them. What is she doing there? I don't know. Everybody else is armed, and she's like, I have a wristwatch. It does math.
Richard Art asks, where the fuck are her tits? What do you mean? They're behind her chest plate here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why you can't see them. They're going to cover it up. What do you want? Boob pockets on her bulletproof plating?
Excuse me, but boobs? That is so misogynistic.
Yeah, not all women have boobs, Rich. Christ.
Will Wheaton is going to write a stern letter to somebody about what
Will
you just said.
Wheaton's going to block you on Twitter.
Faster than Steve Shives.
Probably just as fast.
Yeah, I could say this. I'm blocked by Steve Shives, and it was legitimately for something I tweeted at him. I busted his balls for being an atheist, and he fucking banned me, man. And I was like, hell yeah. I got the legitimate ban.
I didn't get to say anything to Steve Shives before you
blocked me. That's too bad.
I got to say something to Christy Winters and Michael Rollins, but
is that true? Jim says the joke is that none of these women are standing next to each other in reality. Really?
I guarantee you. Yeah, they probably took a picture and photoshopped them in together.
Certainly it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Hold on, let's just take a look again. Share. Boom. There we are. Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. I'm not disbelieving it. It's just, that's just a little wild.
I think that maybe the problem is the overlap on Linda Hamilton and the thing in the center. The RPG is either cutting into her hand, or the displacement is like, where is Linda Hamilton? Is she standing in front of her? Is she standing behind her?
Right.
Slightly in front, slightly behind. Where's the shadow being cast by Linda Hamilton given the light source coming down? They're
it would certainly explain kind of like the confusing nature of the picture. It's like, what the hell is going on here? It looks absolutely staged, but it looks staged because they just photoshopped it together. Yeah. So
I guess it's to show a sort of concept art for the movie, which again, I'm all right. I'll see this movie. Getting Linda Hamilton back for it, I'm cool with it.
So let's talk about comics, because Far is telling us how we should be running the stream here. So let's we got to get back on.
She'll take you out of context and make a new Otter video about you.
Yeah, you say that like a joke, man. It's a legitimate concern. Here is a comic from 2008. I'm Savage Dragon, and I endorse Barack Obama for president of the United States.
Yeah. There were tons of these, dude.
This is... So Jack and I were talking about this, and this is bad.
Yeah.
Like, this is just bad. And why is because it's like, this is so far from the world outside your window. No. This is like, this isn't having some politics in your comics. This is smattering your politics with a little bit of comics when you're on this level. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
My problem is that, you know, where is the I'm Spawn and I endorse
Satan for president?
No, that would be
Malborgia?
bad. No, what's his name? Who ran against him in the first term?
McCain?
McCain. I was gonna say that's even worse. I'm Spawn and I endorse John McCain for president.
You're getting a letter, dude.
Wow. Wow. And it's I gotta say, that is not the best artistic rendering of then President Obama. Well, then candidate Obama I've ever seen. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I mean, he's got some pretty strong characteristic features that you could have made him look a lot more like himself than this.
No, like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with this. I mean, there was even I saw it on your boy Zach's video a while ago. I've actually been interested in going and tracking them down. DC Comics put out a was it like a 6-issue miniseries talking about the 2016 election and it was I can't remember. It was one of the elections. And it was giving all the DC characters as political leanings.
You mean this comic right here?
DC Universe Decisions? Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Well, conveniently for you, that's what we're going to be segueing to. Way to jump the gun.
I'm sorry, but I'm not necessarily against this. I don't.
Well, nor am I. What I did think about is because I was reading the article in Hollywood Reporter from 2016 where they were talking about that 4-issue series, DC Universe Decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And this cover came up, and I'm like, there's a way to do, you know, sort of real world politics inside of the comic book universe. Mm-hmm. And then there's a way to not do it. And this strikes me as the quintessential example of how not to do it. Like, this is it right here. Comic book character standing beside a real world person and saying, like, this is what I think. Like, this is not Savage Dragon talking. This is the writer talking. Why didn't you just put you there, not Savage Dragon? Why even bother?
They did this with Spider-Man too. But the important thing to note here is there's a reptilian endorsing Barack Obama.
There literally is. That's great.
I would like to spread this over all of social media so that the conspiracy theorists can have a field day with it.
I say, I sincerely hope one day we get enough subscribers and viewers and stuff like that we rival Lords of the Night so that we can have our own sort of thing. That we like, if Jack is absent one day, we sit there and go, reptilians, the conspiracies.
Actually, I have a lot of free
it's
time.
Like he's here.
That's kind of weird. Ryan Walters said, why is Savage Dragon just a green roided out Lex Luthor with a fin on his head? Look at his face for a second.
Yeah.
And
Eric Larson's a terrible artist.
Jesus, he really does just look exactly like Lex Luthor, but green with a fin on his head.
Yeah, he's a reptilian, dude. Come on. Get with it. They're all evil.
Lex Luthor is a reptilian. My God. So anyway, that's why I grabbed this.
Was president of the United States.
That's why I grabbed this cover, because it is, in my mind, the example of how not to do it. Let's go over to the article that covers.
Is Superman dabbing right there?
No, he's getting ready to fly away.
Oh,
but
okay.
This cover of Heroes Don't Vote, and they talk about it, and they put some in the Democratic side, some in the Republican side, reasons why, reasons not. It's worth reading. It's not the greatest thing ever. You have Green Arrow, who's a very liberal character within the comics, so it makes perfect sense for him to endorse, you know, he endorses Davis Brewster liberally. And I love the idea of Heroes Don't Vote. It's kind of like this is based in some interesting storytelling. Like, why the hell not? But this is before Trump derangement syndrome really set in my opinion.
Well,
because
Bill Willingham is one of the writers, and he's fucking great. He wrote Fables, and that's a great series.
Yeah.
I know you don't like it, Jack. I don't care.
this article is very, very telling. It is from November 8th, 2016. Oh my God. Does it date strike a red flag with anybody or a flag with anybody?
Just a little.
They didn't know yet. Hillary was going to win, yo. Because 92% chance of winning, said the New York Times that date. Why would you, hey, there you go, right? The 2008 comic book revealed which DC heroes were Republicans and which were Democrats back in 2008. This is why Barack Obama is being touted by Savage Dragon at that time, right? You begin to see Trump derangement syndrome setting in. If that's a thing, you see it here. And so that's why I want to talk about the article more than the comic book, because I don't want to spoil which characters are which, even though there are some spoilers here, because that 4-part series is absolutely worth reading. Still available for purchase. Yeah, I'd recommend reading it. Why not? It's a fun way of doing real world politics, but in a comic book world. So, but let's see what these nut bars over at the Hollywood Reporter have to say about it when Trump is breathing down their neck. He's really not, but they see him under their bed at night. So, is Wonder Woman a conservative or a liberal? What about Batman? In 2008, DC Universe Decisions decided to canonically reveal all. This year's presidential election has divided the country in a way few other elections in U.S. history have managed. Wow, first sentence. However, throughout it all, the fictional heroes of the Marvel and DC comic book universes have remained above the fray in all but the most coded of ways. Now, I do realize, of course, that hold on. Sexy. I forgot that I still had that up. Just thought I'd drop in there.
Now picture Mimosa right downstairs.
Shut up.
Tongue bathing her nethers.
He had to rape her. That's what happened in Game of Thrones. I don't mean to be blunt, but that's what happened.
It's called role play, Polly.
Some people really get off on it. I'm just saying.
I realize this isn't Marvel or DC that Hollywood Reporter is referring to, but then again, the person I got to write this is just a pop culture idiot and probably doesn't read comics. But this is the way that they stay out of the fray, and only the most coded of ways right here. Like Spider-Man and Barack Obama when he won on the cover. Remember that one? Giving the thumbs up and Spider-Man's tiny little head in the background. Yeah, that's how they stay out of the fray in the most coded of ways. Yeah, right. I really believe that these people think that they're being subtle when they do these things.
Of course they do.
There's no subtlety involved. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily be subtle. It's just that there's a difference between doing something like this here with DC and I don't know, maybe just giving a more balanced and unbiased. I don't even care about bias. Really, it's the fact that there's a lot more attention given to it, and it seems more genuine rather than someone trying to tell you what to do. You know what I mean? Because here, you've got, I believe that's a Vixen, Firestorm, and Hawkman, all giving their own political ideology, endorsement for whatever candidates. They're not necessarily agreeing with each other at all. They're giving their own reasons for it, and it's not telling you what to do. It's telling you what they think.
And at the very least, they're all fictional candidates. Looking at you, Eric Larson.
It doesn't even matter if they're fictional candidates either. Not to me, not really. It all depends on whether or not they're being fair.
Being reasonable and mature about it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
DC
that's
Universe
part of the
Decisions
problem.
Go ahead. What?
I was just gonna say, I think that's part of the problem is that it's not handled in an adult way anymore. It's more like grandstanding and moralizing.
Ryan Walter says, "Does Firestorm get the vote twice?" Yes, when he breaks himself down into constituent parts.
Yeah, they're voting for different people probably. Professor Stein's more of a lefty, and Ronnie's more of a righty.
Yeah.
DC Universe Decisions was a 4-issue miniseries published in the run-up to the '08 election, written by Bill Willingham and Judd Winnick, with art by Rick Leonardi. Fuck yeah. I'm a big fan of Rick Leonardi and Howard Porter. The plot, such as it was slight. Oh, let's hear more from you. A killer targets each of the candidates in the primary races for both the Democratic and Republican parties, meaning that each candidate is given a superhero bodyguard to protect them. But the real appeal of the series is seeing favorite superheroes express their political opinions in a manner sure to upset at least half of their fan bases. And then, as we see here, they give support to the different Davis Brewster, Suarez, and Bob Ridgway as the fictional candidates. In many ways, it's an idea that seems unthinkable today. Yeah, because of fuckers like you stoking unending fucking fires. Anyway, for all that Captain America is an inherently political figure, it's hard to imagine Marvel allowing him to endorse Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump today, despite the obvious reasons Cap would feel uncomfortable with the latter. Yeah, all the obvious reasons. Yeah. So like Hillary Clinton dragging the United States into useless wars, why would Cap be against that? I don't know.
Because, well, I think Captain America would be opposed to Hillary because she's opposed to super predators.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, let's say that you don't take that you're somebody that your policy ideals didn't think. No, Hillary Clinton was not going to drag America into war in Syria. That's a bunch of BS from the other side. Okay, but it was a thing that a lot of people took seriously. The idea that the only problem that Cap would have, it's like Donald Trump's also going to crash the economy and he colluded with Russia. You know, the other side doesn't take that seriously, but the Trump's opponents take that very seriously. Like, come on, we can't. So I don't know. It's the obvious reasons. Like, oh, shut up. Graham, what's his name? Graham McMillan. Yeah, it's all obvious to you, isn't it?
That sounds fake. Graham McMillan. That's a fake name.
Why risk upsetting half of your potential customer base? Yeah, that's a great question. Why would you insult your customer base over and over again on Twitter? Why would you say things like that, Brie Larson, that are going to insult the majority of your customer base? Even an idiot like Graham McMillan appears to be can understand that. Just throwing that out there for food for thought.
Yeah.
That's not to say that endorsements wouldn't come following the election. President Barack Obama famously appeared on the best-selling issue of Amazing Spider-Man, released a week ahead of his inauguration on January 2009. Or that other independently owned superheroes would declare their allegiances. In September of '08, the issue of Eric Larson's Savage Dragon, the one that we were looking at, featured President Barack Obama, and I support him for presidency. But the big name-owned company characters, that would be way too risky. Not anymore. Not after the Orange Man won. Of course, decisions didn't go so far as to use real-life politicians. Instead, the fictional universe that once had elected Lex Luthor to Oval Office, it didn't go well, unsurprisingly, was choosing between Davis Brewster and Martin Suarez on the Democratic side, and Catherine McLean and Bob Ridgway for the Republicans. Of the top-level DC characters, Republicans came out on top, scoring 2 separate Green Lanterns, as well as Lois Lane and Wonder Woman. The Democrats, meanwhile, got the support of Batman and Green Arrow. The Flash and Superman went undeclared through the entire series. The Speedster, because of a joke that went viral, leaving him responsible for the PR cleanup instead of sharing his opinion, while the Man of Steel purposely kept his decision to himself, leading to a climactic speech where he explained his thinking. It was really good. The main tentpole character of the DC universe said, I'm not saying, and his reasons why were great, and you should really read it. It was well written, as opposed to having Captain America looking at you, Chris Evans, talk so against a given. Now, I realize he isn't Captain America, but then he does use that, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's like, Kevin Feige said that I'm acting really patriotically, just like Cap would do by saying all of these things. So it's like you want to borrow from this character. Well, how are you saying this? Well, I'm not really that character, but you want to borrow his nobility when you don't act nearly as a shade of a shadow of anything near as noble. Just, again, throwing that out there, food for thought. It would be unconscionable for me to share my endorsement with you, he explained. Hey, there's your boy.
Yeah, Max Landis. Yeah.
Yeah.
To remake American Werewolf in London. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wild.
I think
That's
sounds
old
like
as fuck. November 7th, 2016.
I wonder if he's still doing it.
Why is he wearing the Joker suit?
That's what I was thinking.
It doesn't matter.
Well, in any
I say
case.
Max Landis is really into comic books, so
I'm with Peter, though. It's stupid that comic book characters are endorsing politicians.
That's what I'm saying. This
I
is
don't
the
think it
stupidest
is.
fucking thing ever. Like, it's as far gone as it can get. We can argue over should they be endorsing Republicans and Democrats generally. But when you do this, you're clearly way out in left field and you've lost the plot. And what the fuck?
I don't know. I find it. I don't want to buy that issue. You know.
The question I've got is that part of the story of the comic?
Probably not.
If it's not, then it should be an alternate cover.
Yeah, you would think that.
But cover of the comic. That's all I say about it.
Focus on Superman's statement here, which is followed by a fantastic paragraph that shows the difference between a good comic book writer writing something in character for the character that makes sense, not allowing their own bullshit to come through, because I'm sure the writer had their own political thoughts, certainly, right? And then the writer of this article not being able to stop from any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, glorifying the fact that they've got a platform to shoot their mouth off politically, right? Superman says at the climactic moment, "It would be unconscionable for me to share my endorsement with you," he explained. "Whoever is elected to the highest office in the land should not think that they will not have our full support, that our allegiance are stronger with the defeated candidate. We don't take sides. The battles we fight are larger than those on the political spectrum. It would pain me to think that the president would believe that he or she couldn't count on us, turn to us, or rely on us." You know, like the entire resist movement, for example. It's in a meta moment with Superman explaining another less cynical reason why politicizing superheroes might not be a good decision. Well, there's a certain amount of fun to creating a personal canon where Wonder Woman joins Beyonce in supporting Hillary Clinton as a fellow female warrior. Superheroes really should be for everyone, regardless of whom they choose to vote for. Do you still think that, Graham? That superheroes should be for everyone, or should they be denouncing the guy that you were absolutely certain was going to lose? You really think so? I don't think so. I mean, fellow female warrior being supported by another female warrior, Beyonce, and another one, Wonder Woman. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what goes on inside of your personal canon?
I would sincerely hope that the mentality should be that regardless of who won and who lost the election, you still should stand with the leader of your country. They're not free from criticism. No one is. Especially those who are beholden to the American public. But
there's like, right or wrong, I think a question comes in, like, it's not a question of morality, it's a question of, for want of a better word, integrity. It would, sitting around in the room, the word that would come to mind is just like, so we're going to have Superman, Captain America, whoever it might be, openly endorse the given candidate that we endorse. And it's like, guys, isn't this just, I don't know, unseemly? Like, this is just weird. Like, what are we doing? And it's like, what? You want that orange fucking traitor to win? And no, but what are we doing here? This is just weird. Should we be hijacking these characters as our mouthpieces?
You know what I did? I voted for who I voted for, which I've said it a lot on Minions. I'll say it here. I voted for Jill Stein in the election because I didn't want Hillary Clinton to win. Fuck no. And I don't really like Trump too much either. But am I sitting there saying he's not my president? No, he won the presidency. He's the president. Like it or not, fucking get over it.
Oh, you just triggered so many people right now.
I guess I could say this. Like, I didn't vote for Hillary or Trump either. I didn't think either of them were up to the job. It's like, but they were not likable candidates or preferable candidates for the position. I didn't think Hillary Clinton's platform, I really did think the war thing was much more likely. I really did. The Clinton Foundation stuff had me extremely iffy on pay-for-play politics. in a big way that wasn't being talked about. I knew how much money they had received and whom they had received it from generally. I knew how much the Clintons themselves had paid themselves out from it. I knew the $5 million that the royal family of Qatar had given Bill Clinton on his birthday. Like, it's so not to get too heavy into politics, but I didn't vote that way either. So when I'm criticizing this person for turning comic book characters into their personal mouthpieces, I would find it unseemly to do that. It's not like I'm saying you weren't championing Trump, so I'm angry. I'm saying you're so obvious who you're championing, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
But what if they give us their unsolicited opinions on Israel?
Well, the final statement here that kind of shows where Graham will, whatever the fuck, is coming from. It's like, sure, Superman personally might not want to vote for a politician who lies or makes hateful remarks, but it only makes sense that he wouldn't speak out against him publicly, especially if he wrestles with that idea that the country he loves has chosen a leader he can't stand. And sure, I'm talking about Lex Luthor here. Definitely. Oh my God, you're so clever. You're so clever. No one saw what you were doing there. Yeah. And I guess the only fun that I have in this is like, I'm willing to bet that Graham McMillan, you must be still stewing up until now if you were willing to write an article like this on November 8th, 2016. Just my thoughts.
Superman would have saved us from the Orange Man.
Orange Man.
Okay, before we get into let's see. I didn't read through this article. I just the quote itself. Maybe I took it the wrong way. I'm hoping not. This will be a fun thing to lead us into pitches. Hold on, sorry, having computer trouble. There it is. Bette Midler goes off on Marvel movies. Quote: unbearably loud, makes such a racket, something for young men.
Oh, men.
Well done, men. Let's just see if that's actually what she says and all the hay that I make out of it. Actress Bette Midler, known for Hocus Pocus, Beaches, and The First Wives Club, went off on Marvel movies, saying they're unbearably loud. Midler discussed Marvel movies in a wide-ranging interview with Variety. When she asked whether she enjoys watching movies, Midler replies, quote, I do really, to tell you the truth. I don't really. Excuse me. Yeah, I was like, what? I don't really, to tell you the truth. They're unbearably loud. They make such a racket. They don't really have any decent dialogue. And there's a lot of explosions, excuse me. Now, I don't know about you. Yeah. But I don't really know about you. But I don't really like explosions. I'm not really an action fan. I think it's something for young men. They like noise. Okay, so that's basically.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. According to Variety, the latest Marvel studio film, Captain Marvel, saw males account for 55% of audiences, meaning women made up 45%. They also indicated that 74% of moviegoers were over the age of 25. Midler, however, did indicate that she would be up to acting in a comic book movie. Oh, sure, as long as I don't have to bring the coffee.
I was gonna say it's yeah, Midler could be Aunt May in One More Day. How about that?
Yeah, she could be Granny Goodness.
In the Midler interview,
no.
She would also discuss her political activism on Twitter. I participate in it because it can be fun. Like, I'm a broadcaster. I like to broadcast, but I don't really like the feedback. I'm quite oh my God, I'm quite sensitive. So
I don't like the feedback, but I like being out there.
Right.
So in other words, you're attention seeking is what you are.
Yeah. I like my political activism to be absorbed, but don't say anything back to me. How much does this remind you of Scientology moron Samuel L. Jackson, which is what I call him now after I found out he's a Scientologist? It explains so much. Yes, I love him as an actor, but the guy's clearly a nut in real life. I mean, he's a Scientologist. What more do you need to know? And that's pretty fucking kooky. And this guy's remember his quote.
I for one love Scientologists.
You're just afraid of the lizards that run their organization.
You'll summon them.
I was gonna say you just want to get your body thinking count low, so you'll be happy.
I don't want to get sued.
And so when he, with his line, said the problem with a lot of the criticism that's coming at Captain Marvel is that people that normally wouldn't have a platform now have one. And it's like, right. Jackson. We should be listening to you talk and tell us things. And if you hear from a whole fuck ton of people something that you don't want to hear, it's like, well, you people shouldn't really have platforms. That's why we're having to hear your awful opinion. You mean the people that are actually the audience that are going to pay for these movies? I mean, this is what's at the core of like the Comicsgate thing. And I know I keep talking about this, but talking shit to the fans. It's amazing how many creators you find out are actually assholes. It's really disappointing. Like, it's like Bill Sienkiewicz. No, I loved Bill Sienkiewicz. And then you find out that he's really quick to call you a Nazi over something that, man, I think you've got a misunderstanding on this. Like, I'm seriously, legitimately not a racist or a Nazi. What's your fucking problem, Bill? And it's like, well, you're just kind of a prick. That seems to be it. You're just kind of a fucking prick, aren't you? And Samuel Jackson right away, it's like, oh, well, I'm in this movie and I've heard that it's a bunch of people don't like it because a woman's in it. So, you know, well, you shouldn't even have a platform anyway, you peon. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's say, get back in your ivory tower there. Yeah.
Or bet here. I've been a millionaire and in the Hollywood elite for years and years, and everybody loves me. And it's like, I love stating my political opinions, but I don't want to hear anyone say anything back to me about it. You mean other fellow voters like you, whom you have no more power than they?
Ah, but see, here's the difference. She has a megaphone from which to broadcast her stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand why this article exists, because who the fuck cares what Bette Midler thinks?
Well, just go back to something, just round it up. And what kills me about this, like, you know, that's for young men. Midler also seemed to credit Donald Trump for more women starring in their own movies in the late 80s and 90s.
What?
Midler also seemed to credit Donald Trump for more women starring in their own movies in the late 80s and 90s. When asked if she thought her success contributed to more women starring in their own movies in the late 80s and 90s, Midler responded, quote, I can't really say that. I raised awareness, but I don't think I raised rage. I think it's actually Donald Trump that did that, because the way he spoke about women confirmed what women believed men said about them behind their backs all along. And so that enraged them. Then the Women's March came in and the people started telling their stories.
Okay, wait. What the fuck does that have to do with movies in the 80s and 90s? Those thoughts are not connected at all.
I think the author, I think I'm going to blame that tentatively on John F. Trent, who wrote this.
John F. Trent, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think he writes a lot of good stuff for Bounding into Comics, but I think you really dropped the ball on this one, buddy. Like,
good God.
I think it's the Alzheimer's.
It's the Heimers.
Yeah.
No, okay. Seriously, none of those thoughts were connected to each other, but we can still criticize fucking Bette Midler for this. I can't really say that. I raised awareness. First of all, yeah, it's like she attributed the more women starting in the 80s and 90s. I can't really say that. Oh, oops. You probably shouldn't have added that little bit. You should have probably put an ellipses and I raised awareness. But I don't think I raised rage. I think actually it's, oh, is she talking about her fucking hour-long acceptance speech or whatever? Oh, that wasn't Bette Midler, was it? That was what's her nuts. The other
I think that what this quote is actually asking her, that Trent dropped the ball on, is it's like Midler also seemed to credit Donald Trump for more women starring in movies recently. In regards to her being the star of films in the 80s and the 90s, however, she was asked if she thought she contributed to more women starring in films. And then goes on to say, I can't really say that. I raised awareness by starring in films in the late 80s and 90s, but I don't think I raised rage. I think it was Donald Trump that raised the rage. And now she goes on like the Women's March, and it's like, okay, like I understand you got political activism and you're in. So anyway, I don't want to get into the whole politics.
Wait, we're overlooking one important thing that she should have said, is when asked if she was an inspiration in the 80s and 90s, she should have said, yes, I was the wind beneath their wings.
Boo. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, she's clearly, unbearably loud. They make such a racket. I don't really like explosions. It's something for young men. I mean, young men are stupid, and they go. But here's the point: if the audience is young men, I think Brie Larson would have had an argument with you. I would have loved you two to be interviewed at the same time. I don't know why you would be, but it would be like, This movie is starring women and it's for young women. Yeah, but it's full of explosions. Bette Midler just said that Marvel movies are for young men. You see my point here? That's why I thought that was so funny. It's like,
Captain Marvel's got explosions all over the place, but
that's what I'm saying.
It's pandering to the patriarchy.
Oh.
And if it was like, we're going to put, we need this, we need to have a Marvel movie because women are going to these movies, which they are. And we need to have a protagonist that's a woman. And it's like, okay. And it's like, so we need to make it a feminist film. Do we? Or do you just want like a protagonist because were they masculinists, the male characters? I'm sure an angry feminist might say so. Yes, they were toxic males. Like, you know, so we need it to be a feminist movie. I find it funny that Bette Midler is like, I don't know, those explosion movies are really for young men. And it's like, well, I think Brie Larson and the whole feminist push would be a thing. It's like, so that was the exact wrong genre for them to be doing it in. Bet, are you just way out of touch, or were they stupid to have tried it with a Marvel movie? I'm curious. Some you can't both be right.
Yeah. Hey, Polly.
Yeah.
Did you ever know that you're Johnny Hellcat's hero?
What is going on? Johnny Jack, you guys with the dad jokes, man.
Busy being awesome, Johnny. Woo!
Thanks for being awesome. Wow. You guys got the groaners tonight, man.
We can't help we're hilarious, Polly.
God, on that note, why don't we move over to pitches? Which actually, I actually got to get going pretty quick, so we should do some super fast pitches, and I'm ready to go right away.
I think that whole conversation there would lead really well into my pitch.
Would it?
Go for
yes.
it.
Okay.
Shoot. So foreshadowing for those who joined the stream early, I said before that my pitch was forecasted by the stuff that we were talking about earlier. Mine is written by Alan Moore, drawn by Brian Ballard, and colors by Brian Ballard, letter by Richard Starkings, introduction by Tim Sale, afterward by Brian Ballard. My pitch is something that everyone should have read, because we talk about it all the time, but we never, ever actually pitched it. The Killing Joke.
This is before he was a hippie in the woods worshiping twigs. Just trying to be clear about that.
I was saying, before we went live, I said that my pitch is going to be something where this is my Frank Miller to Polly's Alan Moore. Yeah, because I give Frank Miller shit and don't like some of Frank Miller's stuff. Polly is the same thing with Alan Moore for me. I like Alan Moore. I really like Alan Moore.
You know what Frank Miller didn't do? Let his wife talk him into writing a $400 porn comic.
I'm okay with it.
And calling it art. That's the kind of shit that Alan Moore does.
I'm okay with it.
I'm just saying, there's this, which is a masterwork, no question about it. And Watchmen, which is a masterwork, no question about it.
V for Vendetta.
But it's okay.
I like V for Vendetta.
I mean, it was good. Like I'm not criticizing it, but it's not at the masterwork level. Frank Miller has an entire catalog of masterworks.
Oh my God. Are you guys gonna have a nerd fight?
Nerd fight? No, our nerd fight.
I really like the
our nerd fight is
really
gonna
like
be all about what's it? One More Day. We need to get on that. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm getting in on his pitch. By all means, pitch the masterwork. It's worthy of it.
The Killing Joke is all about of course the Joker. But it's really a story about how the Joker becomes the Joker, a failed comedian. His wife is pregnant, takes a job with a whole bunch of gangsters to raid a chemical plant. Batman breaks it up and he falls into a vat of chemicals and becomes the Joker. But there's so many other plot lines that go along with it. There's the story about how Barbara Gordon gets shot and gets paralyzed. There you go.
Dude!
Amazing.
You're pitching, not fucking spoiling.
Well, it's everyone should have already read this. I mean, it's
yeah, you don't want to show the whole thing either because there's naked Jim Gordon in there.
There is, yes, and suggestively posed Barbara Gordon's. But yeah, no, this is one of the most crowning achievements of Batman and the Joker storytelling. It paints the Joker in a sympathetic light while still having him be an absolutely ghoulish villain. It's one of the first, really, I would say, mature Batman comics. You know, you got this quote from Tim Burton right up here. I love The Killing Joke. It's my favorite. It's the first comic I've ever loved. It deserves all of the praise that it gets. And you know, we mentioned before earlier when we were talking about the Joker trailer. We made, you know, remarks and quotes about it, that all it takes is one bad day. And that's, I think, the central premise of The Killing Joke, is that, you know, everyone can lose everything with one bad day. And I thought it was masterfully executed. It is hands down one of the best comic books ever made. Everyone should read The Killing Joke.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know. It doesn't have that scene where Batgirl and Batman do it on the roof.
Oh God, the bat sex. That was so fucking bad. Dude, seriously, there's no shame in making your movie only a half hour. There isn't.
You say that now.
I'm amazed that that's what people focused in on. I was like, okay, and I didn't have that big of a problem with it. You know what I did have a problem with? Her going and talking about her erstwhile attempted love affair with her shoehorned in gay friend.
Oh yeah, that was bad too.
It's like, so she has this love affair with Batman, but she goes and has girl talk with her gay friend at work. Like, oh Jesus.
At least it wasn't pastel pinks with gay ass Nightwing.
True.
Yeah.
The Rachel Maddow Nightwing.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read The Killing Joke, I thoroughly agree with Quiz that you absolutely have to read it. It's one of those masterwork titles. Although I will correct him on one small thing. He said it was one of the first serious Batman comics. Dude, Dark Knight Returns, 1986. Come on, Frank Miller.
No. I love Batman or Dark Knight Returns. Killing Joke's better.
It's okay to be wrong. It's not good to be wrong publicly as often as you are, but it's fine.
I'm just picturing a drunken Frank Miller fighting hobo Alan Moore with sticks in his beard and last week's soup from the soup kitchen.
That is an amazing image.
And they're having a slap fight.
You guys see, you guys in chat, if you don't know what Alan Moore turned into over the years, like, he makes the music producer Rick Rubin look like a well-kempt man. Like, it's
he looks like Charles Manson.
Yeah. And like legitimately
like a hobo I would tell to get out of my yard.
Absolutely. Like, the guy's a nut. And you think I'm kidding about the worshiping twig shit, man. The guy goes his own brand of weird pagan druid.
Yeah, he's real big into hermetic magics and
he's out there, man. So in any case, Jack, would you like to go next or shall I?
I can go next.
All right then.
But you got to bring up the images because
shit, I didn't even do that. Fuck. All right, talk amongst yourselves.
At least he's not an alcoholic.
He stopped drinking. It's not funny. He did.
I respect an alcoholic more than I respect a homeless guy.
Hey, man, druidism is a really powerful magic, all right?
Druidism is a powerful magic.
Oh, my God. Frosted Glass makes a good point. You know what is going to happen now? Because Polly likes Frank Miller. Jason Momoa is going to have sex with him.
Jesus Christ. Oh, what a horrifying image that is.
I don't know. He looks like a gentle lover.
Yeah, right?
He seems like a really caring guy, you
know. Did you plan this out, Jack? Confuse me to allow moments to talk so
no.
Frosted Glass could come up with sick ideas.
Between Frosted and Johnny, we got some good material going on here.
Oh yeah,
You can't give Frosted Glass a wedge to say stuff, man. Don't you know what that guy's like?
Yeah, he's hilarious. We have some great audience members. Come on, man.
Yeah, we do.
They're funny in chat. That's why I read chat. I don't read chat on a lot of other streams, but
Well, that's a pretty revealing image you just got me to download.
I know, right?
I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Jack is having some technical difficulties, which is fine. I certainly sympathize when it happens.
Chrome sucks.
Yeah, it's Chrome and the Windows 7 I'm running.
Yeah, so he just can't screen share at the moment. So I'm just downloading the images that he sent me that he wants to share so he can show that. And this is a fantastic looking comic. So I'm totally willing to do so. Oops. I hit back and went to Will Wheaton's block page again.
Oh,
downloading these off of Twitter, and I ended up back at no NRA hashtag.
Will Wheaton can ruin a day, man. Just look at his smug face, like I'm better than you. I still say he looks like he huffs his own farts, like he farts in a jar and seals them up and saves them for later.
Yeah.
This is vintage Wheaton.
Vintage Wheaton.
God, what a disgusting idea. Okay, hold on.
But can't you see him doing it?
It's aged 26 years.
This is from my early days on the Enterprise. I've been saving it for a special occasion, and he opens it and you hear, "Shut up, Wesley." And the room just smells.
Lispy Wheaton is the sign that we're going over to the comic Jack is pitching now. There we go.
Oh, I love that comic.
All right, this is Vampirella versus Reanimator, issue 1. It combines two things that I like: barely clothed women and the Reanimator.
Lovecraftian horror, yeah.
Yeah, so Herbert West is on a mission to perfect his serum, and he finds out about this tomb that has this ancient queen in it. Well, it turns out it's somebody from Vampirella's home planet. So it's an undead vampire, and Herbert West is about to cause a lot of trouble. So this is.
You gotta tell me when I'm supposed to flip pages. Just saying.
You could flip now. It's cool, but the art is a lot of fun. It's good indie art. It's definitely got an indie feel to it. But there's Herbert looking all confused. Okay, let's go to the next one. Looks like a slideshow. There's Vampirella. This is my PowerPoint. I really like the contrast because it's all in black and white except for reds and yellow, because you see the yellow of this in the syringe, like the Predator blood glow. But I really like the imagery of Vampirella doing her justice. And see, there's Herbert reading some of the Necronomicon. I thought it was a fun read. It's not a deep intellectual thing, but it's a nice, fun comic, and it's surprisingly written by Colin Bunn. Now, he's a complete jackass on Twitter, but
I don't know anything about him.
He's a big SJW, but he does really good horror comics.
Okay.
So, although he typically in his superhero stuff was awful, he's actually really good at writing horror books. I don't know. How many images did I send you? Because it wasn't many.
6, but I think I only grabbed 5. I think I missed
whatever. But yeah, you get the idea from the images here. Yeah. But I thought it was a fun book. They're on issue 3, and I haven't read issue 3 yet, but I thought it was fun, and I thought I'd recommend it because there aren't that many books that are just fun. And it's a team up you wouldn't think of,
right?
Yeah. So there's actually a Reanimator and
Army of Darkness. Yeah.
It's you said it's on issue 3. Is it limited series or they're not?
Yeah,
certain?
it's a limited series. I think it's only 5 issues.
5?
Yeah,
okay,
4
that's
5,
cool.
Yeah,
and it's from Dynamite, which is cool.
Yeah, Dynamite is real hit and miss, but when they hit, they actually do pretty good stuff. Yeah, and their crossovers tend to be pretty solid. So Vampirella and Reanimator, I thought, well, that's just crazy. I got to read that. And I liked it. I thought it was fun. It's not the greatest thing you're ever going to read, but it's fun.
So yeah, I've actually got that. I'm really digging it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
One of the few times I actually had it before you pitched it.
Yeah. Well, I actually read it a while ago and forgot to pitch it. But Johnny said he still wants to read Hardcore. Man, I just read issue 4 of that. That if they don't make a movie of that book, it's a crime against nature.
So I am also pitching a Dynamite comic today. Jack and I were talking about like old serials, old movies and stuff that were available on YouTube, the Batman serials and so on. And that I watched 2 of them that Jack had sent me links for. And that got me thinking about like old serial stuff. And so I ended up, I'm going to recommend something along those lines. So obviously, The Shadow, Year One.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Which did come out on Dynamite. And Dynamite, the smaller houses is like we talk about a lot on Comic Book Curation. They have some great IPs. They really do. Like and IPs that tend to move around, so you get to see what an entirely different creative team, including different editors, are going to make of it. This is of course, it's telling the story of The Shadow Year One. Lots of Year Ones have been done, really popularized by Batman Year One, written by Frank Miller, and it was excellent. And so, you got that idea of like telling not just origin stories, but like in their early time out. What I like about this series is, the first thing that you always get with The Shadow is, holy shit, do artists love drawing cover pinup art for The Shadow?
Yeah.
They really do. Because, I mean, look at him. He's sort of like Batman, but with guns and a cool hat. And, so it opens up all of these possibilities of really stark imagery and stuff. There he is with Margot Lane looking all hardcore. Period stuff as well. Matt Wagner does the story, but it is not talky at all. It is meant to be a fast-paced story arc. It runs 10 issues. This is issue 1. It's available in a collected edition, and that's the way to read it, because you just fly through the pages because it's meant to move, and it absolutely does. Starts off in Cambodia and how he comes to have his powers to fog men's minds and so forth. If you don't already know the background of the Shadow, it's he's a war hero that gets left over there, and he ends up falling to his own dark side, his own shadow. He becomes a murderer. He becomes this, but Wagner adds in some interesting elements to that and kind of fleshes out the detail that isn't touched upon too much. He ends up developing under a guru the ability to control his own dark side and thus be able to manipulate the dark side of other people, cloud the minds of men. That's part of his power, and wants to rid the world of evil as best he can in a super hardcore way. He knows how to deal with evil because he once was evil. How do you deal with evil? Warm fucking lead, cold justice, vengeance. Like, that's The Shadow is hardcore, man. He will murder you quick as look at you because he feels this is how you have to forcibly confront evil. And so, it's fun, and it moves fast. It's like, there he is, 1929. It is a period comic, authentic to that element of The Shadow. They're not trying to update him and put him in the modern era. There he is with his lady, and it's the 1930s because, smack a bitch up when she gets out of line. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they think? They got rights or something?
It's to show how evil this guy is. It's a what's the word? Plot device.
I thought you were going with training.
God damn it. Anyway, just to show you some of the more of the stuff, like just the covers. I love this one so much. Look at that. There's the Shadow, who so many elements of what we know of Batman are really lifted off of or homaged out of, whatever you want to call it, out of The Shadow. The whole idea of the Bat Cave, the Sanctum Sanctorium, as it's for The Shadow. This is his underground lair, and he kidnaps her, but he can't let her know where he's at, so he takes his scarf from around his neck and like blindfolds her. And what a fantastic piece of art. I just love the look of that. So many things going on at once. So you get all the fantastic cover art as well as an incredibly fast-paced, fast-moving story. The art is not the greatest thing in the world, but strangely enough, I think it complements Wagner's writing, that it's nothing you're going to stare at. It's a page turner. That's why I would advise getting it as a collected edition, so you can just fly right through it and really enjoy it. It's fun. It's action-packed. It's a period piece full of great, vengeful, fun fiction. So that's my pitch. The Shadow, Year One from Dynamite.
You guys may not know this, but part of the genesis of, Polly and I even talking about comic books was he and I bonding over The Shadow.
that's where we meet up, and we both or we found something we both liked a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny Hillcat says the movies was good from for a 90s movie. I would agree. For a 90s movie, it was good. It too bad it never reached the Batman 89 heights of rewatchability. You know what I mean?
And as okay as I think Alec Baldwin's performance is,
yeah,
well,
holy shit, do I love the first 15 minutes of that movie though.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the movie just fine, but I think Alec Baldwin's going to knock it out of the park as Thomas Wayne and Joker.
He's going to be playing Thomas Wayne in Joker?
Yeah, did you look at the cast list? Robert De Niro and Alec Baldwin are both in it.
Really?
You can see them both in the trailer.
Jesus Christ, Alec Baldwin and Robert De Niro. Is there going to be some heavy-duty Trump cussing in that film? That's what those guys seem to spend most of their waking hours doing.
Remember, coffee is only for closers. That's a Glenn Ross reference for the kids out there. Alec Baldwin said that. Oh my God, I don't want to have to explain a movie.
Yeah,
go watch Glenn Ross.
Yeah. James Colley is like, so the Shadow's like Demolition Man, send a maniac to catch a maniac. Yeah, but the Shadow's finally got it under control. You know what I mean? That's his character, that he's finally brought this dark element of his personality that's always bubbling under the surface and directed it towards something good, which is stopping other criminals.
Well, I'll say this. It might be a controversial opinion, might not be. I don't really know everyone's public, sort of sense about that movie. The difference between The Shadow and Demolition Man, The Shadow is good.
You don't like Demolition Man?
No.
Oh.
I find a lot of its jokes are corny and dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of what they were aiming for.
Didn't work for me. I wasn't endeared by the corny and dumb jokes. I was angered by them. And I thought, what's his name? Dennis, whatever, stand-up comedian, Leary, was a ridiculous addition to that movie, and it wasn't needed.
Frosted Glasses is sick, man. Look what he just tweeted. Jason Momoa running up to seemingly rape Frank Miller.
He's not going to rape him. He's going to have sweet, sweet love with him.
Yeah, sweet love.
No, he's running up on him going, "You're a genius, man. Write me an awesome character."
No. That's totally not what's going to happen there.
I'm just saying, Polly, you probably shouldn't advertise how you love someone because Jason Momoa's listening.
I was gonna say that's the thing. Richard Art was saying that next is gonna be Jack and I. No, Polly doesn't love us. What are you talking?
See, you guys, it's not just Jason Momoa. It's like, don't get me wrong. I also have an equal level of anger towards Lenny Kravitz. He's the one that turned her into Liliquai Moon to begin with.
Well, we all hate Lenny Kravitz for other reasons other than just her. It's because he sucks.
Yeah, he really does.
All right, before we get going, Jack Gunsky wants to anime pitch Golden Kamai? Damn weebs. Golden something or other. A period adventure story set in Japan after the Japanese-Russia War. Oh, really? The characters are looking for a treasure. The map is tattooed on dangerous criminals. Cool. That might be some of the rare anime that ain't gay.
Yeah.
Not likely.
Well, there's so few of it nowadays.
Well, yeah, my tastes in anime are so confined. You know what I mean? It's
mine too.
I like such a small segment of certain kinds of cyberpunk and then period samurai ninja stuff, and that's about it.
I don't really like any of them.
I like sci-fi westerns.
Well, then you must be excited about the live action remake of Cowboy Bebop, huh?
Cowboy Bebop is not among them.
Oh.
Believe it or not, another unpopular opinion time. I don't really like Cowboy Bebop.
You realize you're up to like 6
I'm
destroying statements, right?
That's like one that's been haunting me for a long time. In my opinion, the only good thing about Cowboy Bebop are all of the characters that have absolutely nothing to do with the story, aka Ed and Ein. and the best episodes are not canonical to watch to actually get the plot of the story. You only need to watch 5 episodes of Cowboy Bebop to get the whole story. Everything else is stupid and pointless, but the stupid and pointless episodes are usually better than the canonical episodes.
Well, hey, don't worry about it. I mean, like, my credibility with the anime crowd has like been completely destroyed, because while I do like anime, it's just like very particular kinds of whatever, right?
Mhm.
And it of what I like, and then the things that I don't. And then I've said I actually don't like Cowboy Bebop either. Akira is way overrated. And
Yeah.
And there go our numbers.
yeah, sorry guys. And when Vic Mignogna's name first came up, I was like, Captain Kirk from Star Trek Continues, what about him? And it was so yeah, I was
And I say you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I absolutely 100% agree with you about Akira. I think Ghost in the Shell is a better movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on that note, and as our subs plummet down,
we like and I like anime. If you've seen my fucking background, I just don't like new anime.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like anime as well, just not all anime.
Oh, Nicholas
it's weird.
Delay or Delay.
Anyway,
if that's how it's, Outlaw Star is my favorite anime of all time.
I've never even heard of that.
Outlaw Star is awesome.
At least a bunch of other people are like, yeah, Akira's overrated.
It's vastly overrated.
I like Akira, but it is.
You keep saying it like we're gonna believe that's how it's pronounced, Mr. Spider-Man.
I'm pronouncing Japanese names correctly. I intentionally mispronounce Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
but you also mistakenly mispronounce Chiappa. It's Chiappa. So I mean, come on.
I'm going to translate this name into English, where it's Akira. That's how we say it in English.
I'm not having a Weeb Wars with you guys. That's it. No, we're not.
I was just saying, no, I need to have one with Far. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not getting into a pronunciational difference.
Well,
argument
we can all
with,
agree that whatever it's called and however you pronounce it, it's overrated garbage.
Well, whatever you call it and whatever it's pronounced, it's not pronounced cosplay. I love you, Razor Fist, but god damn it.
Yeah, he's the only one I know that pronounces it that way. But I mean, he speaks fluent Japanese and lived in Japan. So
I know.
Where's the difference for that, right?
Well, they also say things are Ratalren.
No,
instead of Italian.
No, we're ending. It's time. I said we were going to cut it short tonight, and we went our usual 2 hours and 34 minutes or whatever the fuck we end up doing over and over again.
It's
yeah, it's
we love the audience, and we want to give them more of our bants.
And that's no kidding, we do love our audience. Thank you guys for showing up every week. If you haven't already, please like the stream. If you're listening in the future or listening again for some odd reason, feel free to leave a comment below. I do read all the comments and get a chance to respond to most of them. And Jack and Quiz come by and respond to them as well. It's
rarely.
Yeah, we really like to hear the feedback, what you like, what you don't, what you'd like to see, etc. So thank you for coming by. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.